Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
Love sports.
Sports.
When it comes to Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
It's here. It's time. There's always a buzz in the air when you hit this moment.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
We will develop men. We will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
I think of him as this hawk. Before long, he's going to be swooping in on those quarterbacks.
And they embody what the school is about. It's about getting into hard situations and getting ourselves out. It's about working hard. It's about doing amazing things.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
Buchanan,
Nuño.
I've got my game face on, all right?
Okay.
I don't need, I've been thinking about this. Enough with the, it's a successful season anyway. I don't care right now. It is a freaking game day.
Yeah.
We can worry about a successful season later.
Yeah.
Right? I don't think the players or Bucky and his staff are thinking this way.
No.
But I've heard that too much. Regardless, it's a successful season. Yeah. Okay, cool. That's not why we're playing. No. We're in March Madness right now.
Trying to win.
We're trying to win a couple games, hopefully more.
Hopefully 6.
That's the ultimate goal. Then I'd say it was a really successful season, but we're not going to go there just yet, right? Like
I could just see us the day before that national championship game, that Monday morning before, saying it's not a successful season
until you're done. Until you finish it.
Until you finish it.
Until you catch my
yes,
like yeah, we're here.
We'll talk about it being a successful season when the season ends.
Right.
We don't want it to end. We want it to be continuing to be successful.
Regardless of this is too many people think this way. That's a loser mentality.
Was Elon Musk successful with his first billion? But he wanted more.
He wanted more.
We want more.
We want just one championship in the Big Three. Actually, we want more than that.
We want them all.
We want them all.
In the same year.
Do a little Howard Dean for me.
We want to win in Oklahoma. We want to win in Texas. We want to win in Tennessee. We want to
Do you think Callie or Luke know what I'm talking
no
about?
idea what I'm talking about.
Google Howard Dean meltdown. Politician. Anyway, look, it's a game day. You got a team that people are predicting to beat you. You got a team that's got kryptonite. And I think what people do to cope is like, look, I don't know if we can win this game, so let's just feel really good about how, look, we weren't even supposed to be here in April. It's not April. We're freaking March. We're 11 months from that.
Yeah.
We're we're invited. You think Buster Douglas in round 6 was like, dude, I've gone toe-to-toe with Mike Tyson for 6 rounds. I'm just happy to be here.
Just happy to be there.
No, knock that fool out.
Yeah.
Why'd I get ghetto there?
I don't know.
It was fun.
It's probably all that music you listen to.
Oh, the country music I listen to?
No.
Oh, okay. George Strait? He doesn't talk like that.
No, he doesn't.
No, he's a good guy. Quality. Never met him. Anyway, I am
get straight to the point.
The point is, go for the jugular. Go for the St. Mary's throat.
All right. Throat of St. Mary's.
Beat the hell. Am I allowed to say this? We had a discussion at the office about it. Are we allowed to?
Mary's?
Yeah.
Well, I don't think you want to beat the hell out of St. Mary.
No,
but the St. Mary's.
The Gaels.
The Gaels, the University St. Mary's.
Yeah. The Tex Gaels.
Yeah.
Sorry. So it was for the Tex Gals. Anyway, this is going to be a matchup about who is able to insert or not insert. What's the word I want to use?
Control pace of play, tempo to put their will, impose their will.
Young Luke Evangelist you were probably in the press conference with Bucky when or was it Bennett who was talking about it, that depending on if the game is played in the 50s, 60s, that's going to be more of a St. Mary's. If it's in the 80s, 90s, it's more of an A&M game, which we all know. If it's in the middle, who executes the best, especially in crunch time?
Yeah, who's going to be clutch? I've seen games where A&M was thrived in the clutch. I've seen where A&M was thwarted in the clutch.
Yep.
I couldn't think of another word that sounded like thrived. So thwarted.
The bottom line,
Yeah.
If I could just say one thing,
Say one.
it's going to be multiple things, but I want to just say one just for dramatic effect.
Okay.
Give me 12 threes.
12 threes.
Give me 15 threes.
Oh, yeah.
Give me 45 points from the three.
Give me 16 threes. I want 48.
Okay,
Yeah,
but let's just go realistic for a minute. So 12.
Okay, let's get back to 12.
12 and a half. Okay. If you had to put a line on how many threes A&M is going to hit today,
I think
the line would be 10, right? 10 and a half?
Here's the thing about them. They're so schizo. They may come out and make 15 threes. Hell, they may hit 10 in the first half, like they did against Missouri. I don't remember how many it was, but it seemed like it was 10. And then get 2 in the second half. And then you have 12. That's not the way you want it. You got to be consistent and things. But if they're on, they have the ability to come out and hit 15 threes.
Yeah.
And they have the ability to go out there and hit 2. So they're so hard to figure. But you're asking for the 12 to 15 threes.
You know who's
yes, they can do that.
Really good at shooting threes on this team? I'm just going to ask you that question.
Who's really good at it?
Yeah, who's really, really good at shooting threes? It's a lot of breath.
Oh, I mean,
there's a lot of guys.
Okay, if you said who's really good at shooting threes?
Yep.
Ruben Dominguez is good at shooting threes. Rylan Griffin's good at shooting threes. Pop Isaac's good at shooting threes. Zach Clements, and even sometimes Rashawn Agee. Now, if you were to say who's good at consistently shooting threes or who's consistently good at shooting threes, then I go,
Well, I'm going to give you a couple of numbers.
All right, give me the numbers.
Are you familiar with a player on this team? He's kind of an unknown. Rylan Griffin?
Yeah.
Yeah. He's 42% from the three.
Mm-hmm.
That means he's really good at shooting threes, which means shoot threes, Rylan. When you are 41.7, that good from beyond the arc, we talk about a lot about Ruben, but I think the league has caught up to Ruben, and they're focusing their attention. I know they focus their attention on Rylan. Rylan's ability to get to the basket, I think, helps open up some of his threes because you have to play him a little bit differently. Rylan needs to shoot some threes, right? And when he hits threes, the Aggies win. You're about to argue with me?
Typically. Okay. But Rylan, like everybody else, like in March, they haven't shot threes as well. So is the ability there? Absolutely. We've seen it. But it's a gamble.
The best ability is availability.
Yeah. They might, they need to and draw those big guys out and then get some backdoor cuts for layups. I think A&M's going to be the more athletic team. Ruben this might be a game where he can come out because I haven't seen St. Mary's play, but all the things I've read and all the stats indicate, they're not the most athletic team. And so, maybe you'll see Ruben come open more than you have in SEC play.
I'm going to take you back to 1994. Okay?
All right. I remember it well.
All right. Carlos Perez, Damian Facey, David Nuño, and somebody else. We went and entered a 3-on-3 basketball tournament. You remember Hoop It Up?
Yeah, sure. I played in it.
You played in Hoop It Up?
Yeah.
Okay. So I played in it many times. This wasn't Hoop It Up. This was probably Poop It Up because it was in Huntsville. It was a fake version of Hoop It Up. Okay. And we played in it. And our first matchup was with a bunch of, I think at the time, 40 to 50-year-old men. They looked out of shape. They looked horrendous, and we thought we were going to run the floor on these fools. Man, they played they could shoot. Yeah. They were slow, but those picks that they would set would it was like a wall. You'd break into a wall, right? And they mopped the floor with the young athletic juniors with a 5'10" power forward and David Nuño. They destroyed us, okay?
And that was before weight training, David Nuño.
I was weight training, but I didn't know what the hell I was doing. It was kind of like you and Billy at the gym, just going from station to station without a plan. Yeah. Anyway, we got our butts kicked. So unathletic or athletic, a team that plays well together in all sports, right? To me is going to beat a team that's just athletic. But the beauty is A&M is not just athletic. They have a system, and they play that system well. But it does rely – you better hit your buckets, and you better force some turnovers.
Yeah. In fact, we said 12 threes at least, and probably need to force about 15 turnovers. And I know that, or I've read that St. Mary's has been better about protecting the ball of late. But they average almost 11 turnovers a game. So if A&M's the most athletic team they've played, they had 16 turnovers against Vanderbilt, which might be the most athletic team they've played before. I don't know. Everybody knows. I can't tell you how athletic Wichita State is, for instance. But if A&M's one of the most athletic teams they face, is that big a stretch? Say you would force 4 more turnovers than their average.
Well, I think Rick Bennett yesterday mentioned that they have semi-played a style like this with Santa Clara. Santa Clara plays a similar brand. I haven't watched Santa Clara play. I can't even see Luke. Luke, would you agree that Santa Clara plays a similar brand of basketball to A&M, or at least that's the biggest comp that they could use in conference for St. Mary's?
I mean, they're separated by like 50 spots nationally in pace of play, but it is the fastest they've seen in the last 2.5 months.
It lost 2 out of 3 to Santa Clara.
Correct. Santa Clara's not A&M. It's Santa Clara. But I'm just saying, if you're trying to find some comps, and then if you're A&M's trying to find some comps, I don't know, Luke, help me out here. Who would be the comp? Would Missouri be the comp?
I think it's more in terms of slow pace of play, elite rebounding, size, and defense. Is probably the closest comp is Tennessee.
But without the athleticism.
Correct. But they have the 3-point shooting. I mean, Tennessee can't shoot the 3 to save their life. St. Mary's can. So they're shooting threes at the same volume. Basically, they don't rely heavily on threes, but St. Mary's will hit their threes. Tennessee will not.
Hey, we're going to have you on for a whole part of the show here in a little bit, but Puglisi, who's contributed to TexAgs in the past, said this is going to be the second best backcourt A&M faces this year. Do you agree with that?
Okay, well, let's go through it. I mean, Acuff and Malik Thomas has to be number 1.
Yep.
Phylon and Holloway has to be number 2.
Alabama guys are pretty good.
Yeah. The Alabama and Arkansas are probably 1, 2. Let's see. I mean, when they're on, I know they weren't elite when A&M played them, but Boogie Fland and Xavier Lee can be pretty good. I mean, they're talented. St. Mary's it's very similar to what Randy Bennett or what Bucky McMillan has said. Like, they're just not going to beat themselves. So by themselves, Joshua Dent and Mikey Lewis aren't getting the NBA draft buzz that other SEC guards are that A&M has played, but they just aren't going to make mistakes and they don't beat themselves. So together as a team, when they're on the floor, they're probably top 3 backcourt A&M has played, but you can't put them above Acuff and Thomas and Holloway and Phylon.
Well, and I have to go back and look at their roster, but I think they're a really young team. And this is not the same team that played last year against Vanderbilt. Yeah, there's some of the same players, but those players last year were not the integral pieces that they are this year. So there's that, OB.
It seems to me that most people that I come in contact with to talk about the game just feel like A&M is going to get beat soundly. And I don't necessarily agree with that. I think it's going to be a very competitive basketball game, and I think if any team actually wins by like double figures, I'm no basketball expert, but just from what I've been watching and saying, I would think that might be A&M. Because they will. I'm thinking if it's teams winning by double figures, it's because A&M's been able to control tempo and set a pace and wear those guys down and maybe get some of the big guys in foul trouble.
All right, we got a couple of YouTube messages about you. Okay.
Oh my!
Yeah, let me read this. James Ellis says, actually no. First is Mr. Benedict, I think it is.
Okay.
OB looking like Kiefer Sutherland.
I've heard worse.
Okay. Then James Ellis. OB is just a good-looking man. NH.
I hear that a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you, NH, though.
Yeah. No, his name is James.
Oh, thank you, James.
NH is what he followed it up with.
What does that mean?
I'm not going to talk about it on the air. I'm just going to say NH.
Okay. That's the wife tells me that, but she has to, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
And anything else? James says, you are too, Nuño. Well, thanks. Appreciate that later. You want to tell the people the name of the show?
TexAgs Live.
You can give me the presenting sponsor.
TexAgs Live, brought to you by David Gardner's Jewelers. David Gardner's a gem of a guy.
We're in the Rollo Insurance Studio.
Jason, Jackson, Keith, Morgan, and the rest.
Yeah, the boys and girls.
The men, the women.
Yeah. And this hour has a name. We call it the Go Hour.
Hour.
Presented by the
Warehouse at CC Creation, CC Senior.
And it's traveled holistically.
The holistic planning will go wherever you go, because wherever you go, you're wanting holistic planning to have your back and have your bank account growing.
I'm a planner.
You are a planner.
I like planning. Yeah. And if you want to be a part of the conversation, you can plan to call the Buppies Catering and
Bartending.
Hotline 979-693-1150.
Yep.
You can also text us on the Catalyst Pure Performance
Energy.
text line 979-693-1150.
693.
Yep. Let's go around the room. We go left to right. We say hi to the people. Nick Savage, how are you, buddy?
I'm good. How are y'all doing?
I'm just living the dream, buddy.
Ready for the game, man.
I'm jealous of y'all, honestly.
Game of the day.
Yeah, it looks like a lot of fun. All your content. Yeah, it does.
Looks like a lot of fun?
Compared to Indy, yes, it does, David Nuño.
Okay.
But all of y'all's content coming out has been great. And man,
I prefer Indy.
Really?
I prefer Indy. This is just a city. It's got buildings, it's got trees, and it's got like 2 restaurants.
One thing about that Indy definitely has over Oklahoma City
Restaurants.
is there's things going on near the town.
Yeah.
I mean, we can go over to Bricktown, but yesterday I wanted to walk after the show. I wanted to get breakfast. I walked 2 miles and couldn't find a restaurant that wasn't attached to a hotel.
Indy's downtown destroys Oklahoma City. Indy was too cold. There was a lot of ugly people. It was cold. All that. I get it. It was our crew. Anyway, I'm not a big fan of Oklahoma City so far. I've seen a hotel room. I've seen the YMCA. I've seen a press conference. You got to go to get a fancy steak.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
That's because, we don't spend all our time in the gym.
I didn't spend all that time. I just went from 4 to 5:45. And I go, OB, wait for me, please.
You did not. In fact, I didn't even know you were working out. I even offered to wait.
You did offer to wait. Nick, anything else, buddy?
I'm feeling good about tonight. I'm going to go Aggies win 78-70.
All right.
If they score 78, is that a winning number, Luke?
Yeah.
Okay. Agree?
Okay, 78. I want 80.
I want 81.
81. That was my high school football number. So go for 81. You can't lose with 81, even though the Roughnecks did 6 times.
That's what your average in classes was too, or no?
No, I actually made good grades.
Did you?
Yeah, believe it or not.
I believe it.
I was shocked.
I believe it. I'm assuming Cooper Patterson's at the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. I can't see it.
Yeah,
Am I correct?
I'm here.
Yeah, I'm here.
Hey, buddy. That was not a very enthusiastic hello.
I'd like somebody from Shreveport.
My bad.
I
Well,
want to talk about bad
Hey,
cities.
Cooper, how are you, buddy?
can I
Okay.
point out that in James's comment when he said NH to OB, saying OB was good looking, but not to you, David. He said you too, Nuño. He didn't say anything after that. Just want to point that out real quick.
I think it's like the holistic planning cool zone. That comment travels.
Yeah, I think that was probably just a charitable
It's
donation.
nice. Somebody yesterday, I forget who it
I'm an
was.
ugly man, and I know it.
Somebody said that Nuño, you look tired, and that's a way to tell somebody they look like butt. All right, it's not a good thing.
Okay.
Sorry, I should have said something else. Cooper, tell us, clean up the show for us.
So I just want to give a fair warning to the listeners. If you have not made your March Madness bracket yet, they will officially lock at 11:15 a.m. today at the start of the first game of the tournament.
I don't think I'm getting one done. It's not looking good for me.
I never get them. You know what? I have the thing. I'll fill it out in like 10 minutes, or maybe 5.
Yeah.
And then it'll be, a wash and red ink. And
Just chat GPT it. It'll give you a bracket from like 1987, but yeah, do it.
do what?
Chat GPT it. Has Olin used AI yet?
No.
Ever?
No.
Never asked questions. How to bake a cake?
No.
3
I already
easy
know
steps.
how to.
Okay.
Huh?
How to change a tire?
I already know how to do that. Not so much in my truck because it's so, I'm getting old. But yeah, I've changed many tires in my life.
I would love to see you interview a chat GPT bot. That would be fun.
I'd like to interview AI, Allen Iverson. I always thought he was an interesting player.
Cooper, give us something good.
Also tonight, if you're not able to drive to OKC and want to watch some great basketball in person, head to Reed Arena at 7 p.m. for the Aggie women's basketball team hosting their first game in the WBIT, or the WIBIT, as we've been saying. They will face McNeese tonight, the McNeese Cowgirls. Coach Joni Taylor announced that all students will have free entry with a valid student ID. Quick stat, the Cowgirls are 28-5 this season and are 13-2 on the road. Also, if the Aggies win, they will host another game in Reed on Sunday.
I watched the McNeese men yesterday on the court because they're here. That's a big looking team.
Yeah. I mean, everybody that goes to McNeese is pretty big person. I mean, I assume they all look like Broniger.
Yeah, these guys were actually fit. Bronny's strong. These guys are fit.
He's a big, strong guy.
He is a strong guy. Cooper, one more before we hit a break.
If you aren't a college basketball sicko like us and were watching or paying attention to the Miami, Ohio versus SMU game last night, the Miami, Ohio Redhawks defeated the SMU Mustangs with a score of 89-79, which means Miami, Ohio is officially in the tournament to the distaste of many fans. They will face number 6 Tennessee tomorrow at 3:25 p.m.
An undefeated team that loses in the conference tournament should not be excluded from the NCAA tournament.
Why would fans have a problem with that?
Because Bruce Pearl went on TV and said they don't deserve to be in. Auburn deserves to be in at 6 and 10.
Too much pearl clutching.
Yeah, look.
By the way, the young Buchanan, the offspring,
the good looking one.
Yeah, he won a bet on that game. He called me up and told me that he had bet on Miami, Ohio. I said, good pick. So
it's interesting though. I've seen a lot of chatter about SMU. There was a couple other players. Is it 2, Luke, that didn't get to play? Am I right about that?
Well, so
they hit it from the NCAA to get him in, right?
The main one, so Corey Washington was questionable, but he did play. The main one was BJ Edwards, who's been out for them for the last month or 3 weeks, and so they said he was going to be ready and back, and that's why they got in the tournament, was because they'd been playing so poorly without him. They're obviously a tournament team with him. And then all of a sudden, right before the game, they're like, oh, he's not playing tonight, but if we win, he might be available for the round of 64.
I thought Auburn should have been in. And I'm not an Auburn fan, but I thought they should have been in ahead of SMU because they beat Florida.
Yeah.
They had better wins. Oh, well.
But what did they do in conference? What was
not going to have any pearl clutching. They were like, in conference, I don't even know. I know they were like 17-16. I think they were the very record that I said if A&M got to, they should have a parade for Bucky. Now they ought to have a dang Mardi Gras, especially if they win today.
It'll be today is Thursday. Which means if we were in College Station, if we were hungry, which is always, and we wanted to eat food that was very high in protein and everything, right?
Yeah.
We'd go to 1775.
1775. That'd be the place to be. Mm-hmm. I bet you they even have a TV over there.
They have a television.
Yeah. So you can go over there and get some succulent brisket, get some amazing pork ribs, get some that incredible jalapeno cheese sausage, get some of the heavenly queso mac and cheese.
Yes, please do that.
And or the turkey or the pulled pork or any number of things. And you could sit there and have this gastronomical experience while watching March Madness.
Yeah, I think that's the way if you're winning in life.
Meat Madness meets March Madness.
We'll let that marinate for a minute.
Well, they do too.
Yeah,
they
marinate,
and then
they marinate their meat. Yeah.
Yeah.
1775txbbq.com is the website. 979-492-6241. What's the name?
1775.
And it's what?
It's good.
Hey guys, David Nuño here to talk about our new partners with EventPipe. They are a leader in hotel booking technology, and now they're giving you a chance to support Aggie student athletes every time that you travel. Thanks to their partnership with United and EventPipe, whether you're heading into a game, a business trip, or family vacation, every room that you book comes with cash back in the pockets of Aggie athletes. That's a wonderful deal. And with EventPipe, you'll get discounted hotel rates up to 20% lower than the major travel sites while enjoying a fast, easy booking process. They've even created Presto, EventPipe's quick launch booking solution. It lets organizations build branded hotel sites powered by live hotel inventory, making it simple to book the perfect stay. So next time you want to book a trip, do it the smart way with EventPipe and support Texas Aggies NIL through United. Visit their website, tau.eventpipe.com.
As a reminder, the final segment of the program is brought to you by Double Dave's. That's at 10:50. But right now, caller number 12, 979-693-1150. We're going to hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Dave's. They've been serving Aggieland since 1984 with your favorite pizza and, of course, those world-famous pepperoni rolls. Reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com, and your favorites are on their way. I feel like I'm yelling.
You've got that one down.
Dude, I do.
You do.
I even got 1775 phone number, 979-492-6241.
You got them all down.
I do. Raleigh Insurance,
doing this.
888-44 Raleigh. Go to RaleighInsurance.com/TexAgs.
You're coming up on what, your 5th year at TexAgs?
Yeah, July the 6th will be my first. That was my first day in 21.
So it'll be 5 years?
Yeah.
Wow.
This is basically the week I told my family we were moving to College Station.
And how'd they react to that news?
Initial tears from the kids.
Okay.
And then excitement.
Right.
Right. I don't think I had told Channel 13 I was leaving yet, though. Wendy's not the GM anymore, so she can't get mad at me. Anyway, can I give a shout out?
Should do so, absolutely.
Annalise Nuño. Okay. She turns 15 today.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, my dear. I'm not there with her, but she's 15. She plays on the Consol soccer team. She starts half the time, if not more, and she's a center back. She's a freshman. She's the state championship team. They have a playoff game tomorrow. So A&M better win. So that's the reason I miss her playoff game, right?
Shouldn't she be about ready for that? What do they call it? Quinceanilla or something like that?
Quinceanera? Yeah, I don't think Cubans do it, but we don't do it. Yeah. We don't, I mean, she didn't ask for it. Oops. I didn't plan that.
Oh, sorry. You didn't even.
She's not like me. She's a socially antisocial person. Means I pick and choose my battles. You, social.
I like people.
I fake phone calls to avoid social sometimes.
We had some really nice people approach us, right, in the hotel lobby last night. I just want to talk about the Aggies.
Nice people I love. People that I already know that I don't think are nice, I avoid. Like, there's times that I see Luke in the hallways at work, and I pick up my phone like, yes, dear, I haven't spoken to my wife in 2 weeks. Yes, honey. And I'm walking right by him.
Wait, you haven't spoken to her?
That's a joke. Lucky. No, are you crazy? I love talking to Elizabeth.
I bet you do.
I do.
I bet you do. I don't really know her that well, but she seems like a genuinely pleasant person.
Genuinely, she is. Yeah. You would say that I'm not, but yes, she is. All right, we got Tom Schuberth waiting for us.
Yeah, let's talk to Tom.
Let me just say one thing.
Okay.
A&M, good bench. Correct?
Okay. Good bench.
Top 2 in the country, I think, in scoring, right?
They score a lot off the bench.
Okay. The St. Mary's Gaels.
The Gaels.
Okay. They play 7-man rotation.
Okay.
Make those fools tired.
Make them tired.
I don't know why I clapped. It's game day. I'm excited.
Yeah, you should be.
I'm going to ask Tom.
It's the big dance.
It's the big dance. So Tom and I, we text back and forth sometimes. I think, and I'm just reading.
Do you dance, by the way?
No, God, no. No, it's dances.
What is it? The rumba that the Cubans like? Samba?
I wish I could do a little dancing. Salsa, merengue, lo sabes, no? No, I can't. Okay. I bet you Tom Schuberth can salsa merengue.
I bet you can.
There's no doubt in my mind. But I think, based on reading his text, I think he likes this matchup.
Okay,
I don't know if that's the case. But I feel a little optimism in his text.
Okay.
So we're going to find that out on the other side. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. Which spot am I going to do now, OB? I
don't know, but I guarantee you've got it down.
All right. Let's see if I have to look at my notes, all right?
Okay.
Are you familiar with Heritage Films?
I am.
Do you know who the owner of Heritage Films is, the founder?
Your friend Chase.
Chance
McClain.
You know what makes him so special?
That he can do all these things. He's worked in Broadway.
Yeah, see, like you got it too.
Yeah, he's worked in Broadway and TV and movies. He's done it all.
What he's elite at is telling people stories. So let's say one day we decided to do Olin's locks of love hair, right? As it grows and it gets really long. Chance would be able to go to the day that he started thinking, I'm going to grow it out. Right. And there's going to be little parts of the interview where, like, week 1 when he's looking kind of like just normal Olin, then his Nick Nolte stage, then his Kiefer Sutherland stage as the more grades come in. And then his
Howard Hughes,
Bono, like long hair stage, and he's going to be able to tell that story. And then Quinn and his kids and his kids and his kids are all going to know why everybody in the family's got long, luscious hair, because Chance was able to tell the Heritage film He tells your story. He tells your family story. He tells everybody's story. 713-893-8341 or check out the website, yourheritagefilm.com, 713-893-8341. It's Heritage Films.
He's got it down.
Thank you. Welcome back into TexAgs live from where?
From your hotel room?
Oklahoma City.
Oh.
We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio. It is the Go Hour presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations. And we go to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. That's where we find the coach, Tom Schuberth. Coach Tom, what's up, buddy?
Good morning, David. I wish I was out there with you guys. Last year this time, you were in Denver, and I was able to join you. I came out with Randy French to watch the Aggies, and we pulled them to a first-round victory against San Diego. And hopefully you guys can do that tonight against St. Mary's.
Yeah, I enjoyed Denver more than Oklahoma City so far, but we won't get into that. Tom, I gave a little bit of a hint. I feel that you like this matchup for A&M, even though a lot of, and maybe you don't like the fact that they're big. I'm not saying that, but there's something about this matchup that gives you a little bit of optimism for A&M. Am I saying that correctly?
I believe so, David. I like the matchup. And again, but I think I mentioned to you in a text yesterday, it doesn't seem like the odds makers do. It seems, I think right now, Texas A&M is a 3.5-point underdog. It maybe started around 2.5, and it's been going up since. So the so-called experts are thinking St. Mary's is going to win. The reason I like it so much, I think anytime Buckyball A&M plays against a team that's not as athletic as them, even though they're bigger, I think we always have a great chance, and especially when we shoot the ball well. If you were to ask me if we're able to turn over, obviously this is a pretty simple answer, if we're able to turn over St. Mary's and speed them up and force a lot of turnovers, I think there's no question we'll win, even if we don't shoot the ball at an extremely high rate. But if we have to play them in a half-court game, which is what they thrive on, they take a lot of time in each possession. They shoot the ball as well, if not better than us. I'm anxious to see if we can go toe-to-toe with them in that type of style and win. And I think we can if we don't give up too many offensive rebounds. I think we're clicking on that many cylinders, and I think we're playing with confidence, and we're more athletic and deeper. So, and in St. Mary's, they've been in the tournament almost every year. They've been the last 5 years, but they're only 5-6 in their first-round games in the 11 times they've been under Randy Bennett's regime.
So much attention and focus put on their size. They have the 6'8" guy who's from Lithuania, who's their leading scorer. Then they got a couple of 7'. One guy's 7'3". What do you see from their guards?
Well,
I know they can shoot, but do you suspect that they're going to have any issue taking care of the ball against A&M's press?
Oh, I think they will, OB. I think they can't turn it over. They actually have more turnovers than they force, which is unusual with a high efficient offense that St. Mary's is. They turn the ball over more than they force them. So I don't think A&M's going to turn the ball over. Even if we don't turn them over, I'm hoping we can still hang in there and, be efficient enough offensively that we can score. But you asked about their guards. They're not those, like SEC jet quick guards. They're very, I guess I'm thinking of Steve Nash type guys. They don't beat you with their quickness. They beat you more with their head and their smart play and being efficient. So I think we match up well against guards like that. When you got those guys that can get to the lane and create for other people, that's usually when it seems like buckyball defense struggles. So I like the matchup, and I love the fact if we do win, we get to play Houston. I mean, this will be a great opportunity for Texas A&M to see where we do stand. Playing against good defensive, hard-nosed teams, and no telling what can happen in that second round.
Tom, I'm going to make this a very simple point, but if A&M hits X amount of threes, they win. Is there a number in your mind that if they can hit 10 threes, they hit 12 threes, does it come down to threes in your opinion?
Well, I think it does, yeah. I think Bucky likes the number 12 at minimum, and so I would say a dozen, and 12's always good when you're talking about Texas A&M. again, if we shoot the ball well, I think we win because we're not going to turn the ball over. I believe that. St. Mary's kind of plays not really pack line defense, meaning that they do a good job of protecting the basket. They do hold their opponents for this entire season at a low rate from the three, about 31%. But I just don't think they're as athletic as the teams we're used to playing. And to me, those were the teams that kind of gave us difficulty, other than losing the battle on the boards a couple times that just kept opponents that weren't playing as well as us in the ball game and ended up beating us. So I like when we play teams that aren't as quick and athletic as we are.
Tom, tell me what you think about this. I think it's important for Rashawn Agee to come out and actually hit a couple of threes early and draw their big guys out and then use his quickness to get by them.
I love it. One thing I love about Rashawn Agee is he's selective. I always use the fact that when I do sit in the stands, I was used to coaching so long, you never get to hear the comments in the stands. But it seems like anytime one of our shooters gets wide open, where they don't honor the 3-point shooter, everybody wants our guys to pull the trigger. What I love about Agee is he's selective. And, he got off to that 1 for 18 start from the 3 in SEC play. And then he's been kind of on fire since, and part of that reason is he's been selected. But I like that. You mentioned the 2 7-footers. They don't ever play those two guys together, so right. We won't really be battling like two towers or anything. But I like that thought, OB, that bringing those bigs out, stretching the floor, and trying to use dribble penetration and knocking down threes.
Talking to Tom Schuberth here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. So what would be your key defensively, Tom? I know you want to force them into some turnovers, but considering that they have guards that can hit threes, considering that they have the size and the ability to score from the paint, what do you think the strategy is going to be maybe when it gets to the half-court set?
No open looks from beyond the 3-point line. I mean, we've talked about it. We've all been impressed with how well Bucky Ball has played half-court defense in the SEC. I'm shocked by it because I thought that's where they would be most vulnerable because they're extending their pressure and then they're scrambling back. But when he's been able to kind of switch up between man and zone and his matchups and things like that, and trapping ball screens sometimes, switching everything, he gives people problems. But if you do allow, and St. Mary's is going to do this regardless of who they play, they're going to move that ball to get not just a good shot, a great shot. And that's what makes them, I think, a very effective team year in and year out. They're always winning 20 games. They're always up there in the top of their league. They actually shared the league title with Gonzaga this year. So I think we can't give them really good 3-point shots. And then if we do give them a decent shot and they miss it, we cannot allow them to beat us on the boards. If that's the one area that if they were to miss their shots and they kept getting second and third opportunities, then I think we get worn down and lose.
Tom, in your opinion, does it tell you anything that look, A&M's played a more athletic, a better schedule, quite frankly. The West Coast Conference is real top heavy with 3 teams. And then I don't know how strong the non-conference schedule was for St. Mary's. I know they got blasted by Vanderbilt. So does that something you look at and say, okay, this tells me something, or, hey, it's a tournament, none of that matters?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Vanderbilt. I mean, that's the example. I mean, Vandy's kind of similar to Texas A&M and the way they play, the depth, the way we shoot the ball, and they lost by almost 30. St. Mary's did. So I could see that happening. Probably not in tournament play, but I could see Bucky Ball knocking down shots, speeding up St. Mary's, turning them over, and win from start to finish. At the same time, if we don't turn them over, what I'm anxious to see, can we hang in there playing half-court basketball with this team? And then I don't think we're going to have a lot of turnovers. I'm not jinxing them, but I think we'll get a good shot each time down the floor because they're not a really athletic pressure type defense. They're more of protect the basket, we don't want you to get in the lane and create opportunities that way. So I think we'll operate well in that. And if we're making shots, as David mentioned, 12 or more, I think we'll be playing Houston on Saturday.
Tom, last thing for you. Give me a reason A&M wins. Give me a reason A&M does not win.
I say A&M wins because they shoot the ball well, making a lot of threes. Can't have turnovers, but I don't think they will. And then the reason they lose, they give up too many offensive rebounds. One thing St. Mary's does well, and they always have, I'm pretty familiar with Bennett. He's been there 25 years. He plays the same way every year. They have 25 Australians on their roster since Bennett has been there. And a lot of them have been very good that have gone on to play in the NBA. But he's going to pound the glass, particularly on the offensive glass, and try to get offensive rebounds and kick them out those threes. So we have to be respectable on the boards. And if we do that, I think we're victorious.
Tom, I appreciate you, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, guys.
We'll check in soon, okay?
Sounds perfect. Thank you.
All right, that is the great Tom Schuberth on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Let's hit a break. We'll come back with a final short segment of the Go Hour before we start the rest of the program. All right, we are talking a little Rollo Insurance. Your commercial insurance needs and deserves specialized attention, and that's what the Rollo Insurance Group is going to do for you. Have a comprehensive consultation for businesses of all sizes with particular expertise in family-owned operations. Their independent agents provide objective guidance on liability, property, workers' comp, and specialized coverage. They're incredible at what they do, and every business does face unique risks from industry-specific liabilities, and Rollo's specialists are going to take time to understand your operation, and they're going to find the right situation for you and your group. As your business evolves, your Rollo agent is going to make sure that they are aware of everything happening and making sure that you are covered. Call them up at 888-44-ROLLO. That is 888-44-ROLLO, or go to rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs, rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs.
All right, we're talking about Burlebo, the heart of Texas, more than an outdoor lifestyle brand. It's products created with you in mind. Currently, I'm wearing the performance polo, the Texas maroon and gray. If you look into it, you've got the state of Texas in gray, and you also got it in maroon. It's one of their highest, most popular sales that they have there. It is really nice. Comfort and versatility. You can wear it in any situation. Quick drying, fits the size. But Burlebo, they're rooted in tradition, fueled by passion for the outdoors. Designs high-quality apparel that works just as hard as you do. So whether you're hitting a workout, enjoying a day of fishing, or cheering on your favorite college team, their gear is made for the athlete, the outdoorsman, and the everyday adventure. And it's really nice. I wore this one to church the other day. People talked about it. Really, my kids were like, "Yeah, Dad, you look pretty good today." From athletic shorts to your favorite go-to tees and performance hoodies, they have everything you want. Check out burlebo.com and find your new favorite gear. It's Burlebo for the athlete, for the outdoors, and for the family.
Final segment of the Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC Creations, Olin.
That's a good radio voice.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you. I was trying to find, here it is. You know one of the guys I look up to. You familiar with David Goggins?
Yeah.
Who's going to carry the boats, you know?
Okay.
Yep. He is 51 years old, okay, and just decided to re-enlist in the Air Force as a master sergeant, entering the elite special warfare training wing after receiving an age waiver. That dude has already competed in Navy SEALs, Army Ranger Corps, Air Force Tactical Air Control training, does all the events in the world, runs 100 miles like all the time, like in a day, right?
Wow.
Yeah. And now he's going back into the military. So now that's
good for
American.
him.
Yeah.
I wonder if I wanted to join the military, if they'd take me.
I actually Googled it for myself.
Yeah.
They won't. I'm not going to get a special. I was just curious. I wasn't like really going to do it, but it was like one of the, just to see what happens.
They'd probably take me and say, hey, you know what, he could take a bullet. He put target practice.
Yeah. I don't think it works like that.
I couldn't move fast enough for the good target practice.
So so Tom Schuberth there talked about 25 Australians that Rick Bennett has recruited and played, and a lot of them made the NBA. I'm going to read you some of the names. Okay, so is it John Dent? Is that his name? The player, Joshua Dent, Harvey Dent's son, is on the team now. He's good. But there's some other Australians. Are you familiar with Harvey Dent?
Yeah, he's the
Two-Face.
Two-Face, yeah.
Patty Mills.
Patty Mills.
Okay. Matthew Dellavedova.
Okay.
Made
Sounds
him
like he's from
Italy.
Italy, yeah.
Jock Landale.
Okay. There's no Dundee?
Not yet. Alex Dukas.
Crocodile Dukas.
Harry Wessels. Oh, he's on the roster right now. He's Australian, right? We've got Kyle Bowen. The Lucas Walker. Some of these names I don't know, but the other ones I did know. Obviously, the first couple that we listed.
Okay.
So, Australians that can shoot.
I remember way back in the day, Seton Hall. Remember when they went to the Final Four?
Yes, I do.
Their best player was Andrew Gaze, who was Australian.
That's right.
Who knew those Australians could play?
Wait, what was the name of Bogut, right?
Andrew Bogut.
Yeah. Also.
Yeah, first player taken in the draft, I think.
Yeah, not worthy of that pick, but he had an okay career. All right, OB, call it. Win or lose?
Win.
Hands up.
Yeah, why not? I got some Harry Wessels. I'm going to have to.
I just saw skin come off your legs. We're going to come back with Michael Earley and Richard Zay next on TexAgs Live. All right, welcome back to TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio here in Oklahoma City, getting ready for the NCAA tournament matchup between Texas A&M and St. Mary's. Got a big baseball series there at Bluebell this weekend, A&M in Georgia. And let's learn all about it with Richard Zane, who's there manning the fort at the studio with baseball head coach Michael Earley. Richard, take it away.
Thanks, David. Coach, good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Of course, one of the best sports days of the year. NCAA tournament starts, but focused fully on Georgia upcoming this weekend. Before we do that, let's go back to Tuesday, right? Because midweeks can be kind of maddening. You know, there are always some challenges, some dangers, especially when they're sandwiched between a pair of top 10 series. So 5-0 now on Tuesdays. What has been the key to success against the mid-majors for you guys so far this year?
I think just playing the complete game and playing 9 innings. And if you take out the start of the game, like the pitching on Tuesdays has been really good. And not that Cole didn't pitch well. They got some hits and he threw strikes, but just Gavin getting in there and the other guys just filling it up and giving the offense a chance to get going. So the key's definitely been pitching on Tuesdays, which is tough. And it might not have been the start we wanted from a just getting guys out standpoint, through strikes. And then when the guys came in, they did their job. So those games are tough, always definitely tough after an emotional weekend. Definite challenge for your club. I think you see it all over the country. It's just those games they're different than the weekend. They present sometimes some wacky stuff, but our guys did a really nice job on Tuesday, just grinding at bats and just kept playing.
You mentioned the emotional weekend, right? You play 3 tight ball games up in Norman. Some breaks don't go your way. You come back with a series loss, taking 1 game, but then you don't want to get caught looking ahead to what's coming. So how pleased were you with the response of the club to take care of business against a Texas State team that's pretty salty?
Yeah, I say emotional. Maybe I was one that was emotional. Our guys are pretty great the entire weekend and just, playing ball. And I think that helped transition into Tuesday. Like they, for them to stay in those games and keep battling back and forth, you have to stay even keel. And they really did that. So yeah, it's huge, man. It's good. Like anytime you play, you want to win. And you got another good team around the corner. Challenge for you is to stay in the moment, stay in the day. And I thought they did just that.
Guy who stayed in the moment, who's having plenty of individual moments here and there, Caden Sorrell. I don't really know what to ask you or what you need to say that hasn't been said already, but 2 more home runs for him, now 8th all-time in program history.
That's pretty incredible.
You've been around a lot of special hitters, too. So how does he compare, contrast to the guys like Torkelson, Montgomery, Lavalette, just other guys you've been able to coach in your career?
Yeah, I mean, he's on that same tier as those guys that just – that 1%er that, elite of the elite when it's right. I think the one thing Caden has that's different than those guys, it's just his lefty stroke is just that, when he gets a hold of it, it just looks different. I think Braden was like that too. But yeah, he's a really good player. And I think when you mix talent and hard work with confidence and a belief in yourself, you get a player like that. And he just happens to be left-handed and it just looks prettier.
Well, tell us about the hard work. What does the behind-the-scenes stuff with him look like that allows him to be so great night in and night out?
He's just consistent with his work since he's been here. His routine, we've been really doing a lot of the same stuff until this year. I think we changed a couple of the drills, but it's all really based around the same thing. And when he needs to make adjustments, he makes them. And when he's doing well, he continues to do his stuff. And he's really consistent. He's really low maintenance. He's really competitive. He's and really easy guy to coach. And usually the good players are.
Yeah. Another good player, Chris Akopian. We've seen him homer twice in the last 3 games since he's returned. Obviously, the big swings are nice. It looks awesome at the box score, but he does so much for your club that doesn't show up in the box score. What does he provide to the offense now that he's back?
Yeah, I think when you get a guy out of the portal, there's things you don't know about him. The thing I didn't know about Chris was just how great, or the leadership potential or the leader he is. Talk about a guy that came and transferred in, and he's one of the leaders of the team, at least in game, to my eyes, just how he acts, how he carries himself, how he's vocal. That part you don't really know about, right? But as far as everything else, he's an elite hitter as well. He's elite at controlling the strike zone. If you look at he does not chase a lot. He will, but usually doesn't happen twice. But he's great to have there. I call him he's like our momentum switcher, get him to the plate when things are kind of in a lull and he'll swing that momentum. It's just like the other night, no hitter in the 4th, and he happens to be up, home run, and just kind of gets some ball rolling the other way. But Chris brings so much to the team other than just his bat. I mean, the character, the work ethic, like he has been an addition. I don't even think we could see, you know what I mean? Like there's no way of knowing that. You were told it, but man, he's been everything you could ask for on your baseball team.
Another one of those leaders, another one of those bats that's heating up. Gavin Grahovic, another multi-hit game against Texas State. What have you seen from him over the last couple of weeks as he starts to get hot and continues to stay hot?
Yeah, he's just been consistently on time, swinging at good pitches. I think the walks and strikeouts are about even, just controlling the zone. And that's with a lot of these guys. Like we get good players here, right? Guys that can hit them when they hit it, they can hit it. Like we're always going to get those guys. They got to hit the balls that they can hit. And those guys they're doing that right now. Like getting balls in the strike zone you can handle. If you do that, you'll be good. And we make it sound really simple. It's really hard, especially when guys are throwing 97, 98 at you at the slider. But yeah, that's what it is. Like be on time, get a good pitch to hit that's in the zone, your pitch, and knowing the situation of the game.
Seen Gav hit lead off a lot this year. Also got to see him hit lower in the lineup in one of those games in Norman. So when you think about lineup construction, what goes into making those decisions, whether you have Grahovic at the top of the lineup or Terrence Gill II?
It's really about run production and what we feel is the best run production. I guess you could look at TK and it's your prototypical leadoff hitter because he's fast. I look at him. It just depends on the game, right? And you got to look at situations and what we look at. TK's a really good contact hitter, so we feel like where he's at, there's going to be some guys on base. We also feel like if we're down by a couple runs and TK's down in the order, we're more likely to try to steal second to get a guy to second for a guy at the bottom of the order rather than have him at the top and steal second when you got Sorrell, Chris, and Gavin coming up who can easily pop a 2 or 3 run homer. But I've also put him back in that just because he brings a spark. So we're just kind of mixing it up a little bit. But we think, with Gavin at the top, when he's swinging it good, let's get him to the plate as much as possible. You start off with those, what I call three-hole hitters in a row, maybe even 4 when Jordan's going right. And then down there gives TK some room to work until the top of the order gets back up. At the same time, when TK's first, he gets on base, creates havoc for the pitcher. It's really just, I don't know where we go with it. I like Gavin first, but I like TK first too. And it's just kind of the feel of the game and the team. And we played well all weekend, switched on Sunday, scored a bunch of runs, switched on Tuesday, scored runs. So it's just going to be kind of like a game-to-game thing as of now.
I know there's some nice options. You've got guys on the bench, whether that be Blake Bender up or Sawyer Farr, but just the versatility and the option of constructing your lineup differently. What kind of weapon do you think that provides you? How nice is it to have those kinds of options just from a 1 through 9 standpoint?
Yeah, I think the one thing we lack a little bit is, not a little bit, we definitely lack just pure speed, right? So there's some trickiness in there and where you put guys and giving them opportunities to be able to use their legs, again, when you're not going to use them when guys that can run it out of the park as much. But in having those guys and knowing that you have them to bring in, and not one of them played this weekend, which is tough, right? Like just didn't call for it, but those guys have been working hard and having them ready to go because they're going to play again and they're going to play a lot, and that time comes usually when you don't even think it's going to. So it's nice to have the versatility of those guys to be able to bring them in and give different looks if we need it.
One last offense question before we flip to the pitching. Why does Bear Harrison get hit by so many pitches? Is that a skill? Is that just dumb luck? And just his ability to get on base?
I think we're
in
a little bit of, if you look at some, if you look at some other players around the country, there's actually some crazy ones up there. But I think there's a little bit of, the luck factor, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the number one thing is he just doesn't move out of the way. That's the biggest part. But yeah, we're in a little bit of both that territory. But I think he has 11 something. I don't know.
It's either 11 or 12. I know we're closely watching the Sorrell home run race versus the Bear Harrison hit by pitch race.
Is that a thing?
It's apparently on the boards. It is. And the national record for a single season, I think, is 37. So he's pretty close. He's close to the pace. Flipping it to the pitching. I know you've got an availability report coming out later this evening, so I won't ask you about Stewart, but the other bullpen guys, beginning with Gavin Lyons. Just how special is it to have a guy who's kind of like a rubber arm, who can go out there and pitch multiple times on a weekend, multiple times on an entire week, and give you guys options and length out of the bullpen?
Yeah, I'll speak on Stewie real quick, just because he's awesome and I love him, and it's just tough. He's going to be out for the year. I won't get specific on the injury part because that's his, medical business. But he'll be out for the season. But he's going to bring a lot to us as far as a leadership role. And he asked me the other day what he could continue to do, and I said, you know exactly what we need you to do. So hats off to him, man. He's been an incredible guy, and we're going to miss him, but he's going to still be there for us and that leadership quality. So it's tough news for him, but he's a good dude, and he'll get through it. As far as it goes with Gavin, he's been great, man. He's got that. You gotta get that tweet out.
Unfortunately,
you're good.
You dropped some knowledge. I'm listening to you,
All
Gavin.
right.
Gavin Lyons.
He's good.
Awesome.
Good player.
Yeah, he's pitching multiple times.
Yeah, and
58 pitches the other night.
He wants the ball. He wants to pitch. And those guys, they get on the mound like after they throw, right? That next day, and you kind of have an idea if they're going to be available in the game, really depending on how they feel when they get it going. So he's been great, man. What the difference between him now and last year a little bit is more consistent with the strikes, but he's able to get around that cutter, get it to the outer half, and he's mixing a few changeups, which from that unique arm slot kind of looks like it's floating in the air from the dugout. But I think the number one thing about Gavin is he competes and he wants the baseball, and those are two things you can't put a price on or a metric on at all.
Two bounce back performances out of the bullpen on Tuesday night from Juan Vargas and Ethan Darden. How important is it to get them back on track and get some confidence after their first taste of SEC play?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. We asked a lot of them. We're going to continue to. So throw strikes. And, we for one weekend we didn't. Now we got an opportunity. We had one on Tuesday. We got an opportunity this weekend to get back to do what we do. And those guys on Tuesday did it. That was great. Now let's do it again on the weekend against a really good team.
Yeah, with those two guys, and then a guy like Chris Acopia and Wesley Jordan, Jake Dewar, and your two freshmen, their first time going through the weekend in this league. Mm-hmm. Now they've got another top 10 matchup coming up. How do you think that entire crew handled their first taste of life in the Southeastern Conference?
Oh, they did great. I mean, I really think Globe Life helped us just getting out there. It's not quite the same, but I thought they handled themselves great. Like I don't see Boston or Nico as freshmen. I don't see Jake as a guy that came from a mid-major school because he's had a really good program. So I think they fit right in, and I don't think it was too much from it all. And I think they all performed really well. I know Nico didn't get the amount of hits he wanted to get, but he's a really good player, and he's going to be fun.
When you think about this weekend in Georgia, a team that leads the nation in home runs coming in, another top 10 matchup, and your scout of Wes Johnson's Bulldogs, what have you seen from them before the series begins?
They're going to be a handful. I mean, they are really good, really good. They can run out of the yard, about every single player. Big, physical. I think we're a really big team. They're going to be big too. Pitchers have a lot of good stuff. I mean, we're going to see some noise this weekend, just like we saw last weekend. So it's just another day in the life of an SEC weekend. So it's going to be, I mean, they're as advertised. Like, I mean, they got some really, really impressive players. Like, they've done a good job over there. So we're going to have our hands full, man. We're going to have our hands full, but we're excited to get them in here.
Sticking with their offense, how do you go about minimizing the damage that a unit like that can do? And we know it begins and ends with starting pitching, right? So how have the guys like Sadeo and Moss and Sims reacted from their last start, knowing that they're again going to be counted on quite a bit against Georgia?
I think the thing with a team like Georgia, or I think it maybe even, they would say about us is if you limit free pass, there's going to be guys in each lineup that are going to hit homers, right? It's just going to happen, especially when you construct lineups, which I think they definitely do, where you have a lot of different guys that can do it. Odds are it's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Now, what you limit are the free passes, so that doesn't happen with guys on base. So it's almost like you don't let them get theirs, but they're going to get theirs. Let's not give them more. And that's going to be in every game, and I'm going to answer that always the same way. It's like, take care of the baseball, limit free passes, and put guys away when you can put guys away. Like, don't leave stuff up in the zone when you're up in the count. So I think for them, like, they're going to hit some homers, especially I think how the weather's supposed to be. It's going to happen. We're going to limit those. I hope they don't hit one, but pretty, tough to do.
Tough.
Let's keep free passes off the base pass. So if they do pop one, it's not a big one.
Free passes seem to be a little bit of a bugaboo last weekend in Norman. So, how have the guys reacted? What has been worked on this weekend to, cut down those numbers some against an offense like UGA?
Yeah, I mean, if you know this, but it's like we've had one bad weekend as far as free passes.
Yep.
So I think it's just a refocus on what we've done before the weekend, and that's what they've done. And you asked before about how those guys will bounce back. I think they're going to bounce back great. Like I told you, my belief in Shane Sadeo is through the roof, and all those other guys. So I have no reason to believe that wasn't just a weekend. Now, if you have another one, then it's like, okay, what are we doing here? But they've just refocused on what they do and committing to what they do every single pitch. And Shane threw strikes. Shane just got hit. So
as you look at tape of Georgia, who are a couple of guys that are on their team that are really standing out to you?
I mean, the guy, I can't pronounce the starter's last name for Friday. It's really unique, weird, but he's going to throw like a 96 mile an hour, 97 cutter, like every single pitch, and a big slider off of it. Just a really unique arm. Like you watch him, you're like, that guy's really good. So he's going to give us fits. And then their catcher he's pretty impressive. Like really good player. I mean, all of them. They have so many good players. Like I'm telling you, like this team is loaded. Like they are loaded. They are one of the best teams in the country. So we're really going to get tested this weekend.
Last thing for you, we'll let you go. Given the conditions you played in last weekend and then having to shuffle some game times around in your last home series, how nice is it to play in normal weather conditions?
Not too early to say. Yeah. Yeah, it'll be good. I like to play in any condition as long as we win. So I'll tell you how the weather is after the game.
Awesome. Coach, thank you so much.
Yeah, appreciate it.
We'll talk to you later across the street
Yes,
for
sir.
a press conference. David, back to you in OKC.
Thank you very much, Richard. Great job. Looking forward to the series. And like Coach Earley said, that the weather doesn't matter if they win. It can be windy, it can be hot, it can be cold. Just win. And hopefully we see that this weekend against Georgia, and we see it tonight against St. Mary's. All right, we're going to hit a break. When we come back, Aaron Torres Online, going to join us. If you're looking for real peace of mind when it comes to your money, you need to check out the good people there at Paragon Financial Advisors. They're an independent fiduciary serving clients all across Texas. No sales pitches, no commissions, just honest financial planning and investment management. And what really sets them apart is their great staff. They got 9 CFPs, a CFA, and a CPA all on staff. They take their credentials seriously there at Paragon, and they work tirelessly to help you build a future that you can feel really good about. Go to paragon-adv.com to find out more information, or give them a call, 979-693-3907, to schedule your free consultation today. It is Paragon Financial Advisors, integrity, expertise, and trust. Paragon Financial Advisors.
I wish I had Olin here for it because he loves energy drinks. Catalyst Citrus Spark. This is one of the new flavors out there. Whether you're grinding through workouts, cramming for a test, or closing in on a deal, or getting ready for TexAgs Live, you never know, right? Fast becoming the go-to fuel for Aggies everywhere. Zero sugar. I'm all in for that. Or synthetic sweeteners, no artificial colors or flavors. Catalyst delivers clean, high-performance energy with smooth, crisp taste that is never syrupy, designed for both health and hustle. You want to get going? You use this Catalyst right here. It's about pure energy and pure results. And what sets them apart? Packed with premium nootropics blended to boost focus, clarity, and mental stamina. I need this. I'm in, guys. I'm in. Plus, with plant-based caffeine, vitamin B12, B6, Catalyst supports metabolism and energy production, making it more than a drink. It's your lifestyle training partner. Built for competitors on the field, Catalyst fuels strength, focus, and pure results. Buy now at drinkcatalyst.com. That is drinkcatalyst.com. Train harder, think sharper, pure results. It's Catalyst.
All right, we're back here live from Oklahoma City. David Nuño, TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Time for Around College Athletics, brought to you by Milliken Reserve, a College Station community featuring homes, trails, farms, and wide open spaces with a mission to build a healthy community around nature. Take part in the Milliken Reserve community with a Conservancy membership. Learn more at millikenreserve.com. With that, we go to the Buppies Catering and Bartending Hotline. That's where we find AT, Aaron Torres from Aaron Torres Online and Fox Sports Radio. Aaron, good morning, buddy.
Nuño, how you doing? How's Oklahoma City?
It's the city. Really, that's it. It's just the city. It's got houses, got buildings, got trees.
Basketball games. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, man. How's Southern Los Angeles or Southern California?
Well, we're having record heat while half the country is under a blizzard. I don't think that probably applies to Bryan College Station. It was quite literally almost 100 degrees yesterday. So listen, you move to SoCal, 70 and sunny every day. Then you wake up and it's March 18th and it's 109 and you have to get your dog out before 8 p.m. because it gets too hot, or 8 a.m. before it gets too hot. But you know what, though? Let me say this. Let me go on a random tangent here. People say, I'd rather have 100 than negative 20. I don't know, bro. I've survived a couple snowstorms in March. It wasn't the worst thing. I wasn't a fan of 110 and then, like I said, having to get the dog out at, 6:08 because it was going to be too hot. But you know what? Like I said, I survived. Today I'll mostly be in the house. I'll be on Fox Sports Radio later today breaking down all the games. So life is good, Nuño. Life is good.
I would prefer 110 over 20 any day, but that's fine. No big deal. Let's talk about this matchup with St. Mary's. I know you're a basketball savant, so what do you think about this matchup? Big team who can hit the three ball, doesn't shoot that many, versus a team that likes to cause some chaos.
Yeah, first of all, let's clarify what I said. I said I don't like 110 in March. Now, if it's July, that's a different conversation. We can, we got all June, July to debate these pressing topics. As far as the game, listen, I'm going to say the same thing that every single guest you have had since the bracket came out said. Most interesting clash of styles that we have in the opening round of the tournament. St. Mary's plays super slow, chews up possessions, and everybody now has a 31, 32, 33 game sample size of what buckyball looks like in College Station. And so because of it, listen, it's no different than a great offense versus a great defense in football, great pitching versus great hitting in baseball is, you think you have an idea of maybe how it's going to go, but you don't really know how it's going to go until the game is actually tipped. So I do think, it is one of the more intriguing matchups of the opening round just because of how differently these two teams play stylistically.
So, AT, I went on a little bit of a, not tangent, rant this morning that, there's a lot of people, and I understand the why behind it because I agree with them. I just don't like the timing. It's a successful season no matter what. We're in the yeah, but now we're in the tournament, and it's not good enough just to be in the tournament. Later we can say it was good enough. But right now, when your team's in the tournament, it's not just good enough. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think once you get there, you want to win, especially, and I'm not trying to be mean-spirited to any specific team. You guys are in the SEC. You did go through a gauntlet. The SEC, by measurement of NCAA tournament teams, has the most tournament wins. If this was, I can't even think of a school. If I was sitting in on a radio station that was Texas Rio Valley Grande, or however you pronounce it, then you're a 15 seed playing UConn, then it's a successful season just to be there. But to your point, no, I agree 100%. And, listen, we've done the semantics of when Bucky got the job, why his back was up against the wall, all that. But that was a long time ago. Now you've played a whole season. Now you've made it into this field of 68. And now that you're there, you might as well stay a while. So I do agree with you. I agree with you. I think if you're a 15 seed from some one-bid league, it's a lot different. You're from the mighty SEC. It just means more David Nuño, and maybe it means more W's for Texas A&M here over the next couple games.
AT, I know this is still a TBD, but it feels to me that maybe because the expectations haven't been as high, but Coach Cal at Arkansas, good in the postseason, we got to see what happens. I mean, he's only done one full postseason with Arkansas, but obviously he had the SEC tournament here just a week ago. And the narrative towards his end of his stay at Kentucky, not so good. So what does that tell you about Coach Cal?
It's tough, and and a lot of people have obviously asked me this over the course of not only this week, but as Arkansas has really hit their stride and Kentucky struggled. Listen, you can find some tweets of me being very critical of Coach Cal towards the end at Kentucky, and so I'm not going to rewrite history. But the one thing that I'll defend myself on, I never believed he was like kind of quote unquote washed up. I just kind of felt like it was time to get a fresh start for everybody, and I still sort of believe that. Let me put it this way. I think Cal could essentially have the same players, and he would have most of the same players at Kentucky. And I don't know that it would be like this. And I just think sometimes, stuff runs its course, and sometimes it's time to start over. And sometimes everyone needs a fresh start. And I think it's not only, Kentucky thought they needed a fresh start, but, I don't know if he's ever addressed this on the record, but I think behind the scenes, he probably needed a fresh start too, a one last place to believe in him, one last place to be excited to have him as their head coach. And so, yeah, I think it's easy to just say, Kentucky made the biggest mistake ever. They're a disaster. Listen, Kentucky cares about basketball as a university in a way that few places do. If Mark Pope isn't the guy, they're going to get rid of him and get the next guy. And if the next guy doesn't work, they're going to go get the next guy until they get the right person. But it also doesn't mean that we shouldn't appreciate what Coach Cal did. And I think, it's put a nice little kind of bow to the end of his career of, he was kind of used car salesman. Nobody does less with more. And it's just like, now we see, okay, this guy is a legitimate Hall of Famer. And I know it's the portal era. I know it's the NIL era, but there's no doubt about it. It doesn't matter who the players are. It doesn't matter what location he's at. That guy knows how to coach basketball. And so, selfishly, I'm happy for him. But I also don't want to rewrite history and rewrite what I was saying 2 years ago around this time. I think it was good for everyone to get a fresh start, but it's very clear, probably him more than anything, has been reinvigorated by this fresh start.
What did you think of Miami, Ohio yesterday, taking care of business? I know an SMU team that was, missing somebody who had been gone for a little while, but they took care of business, and I don't know, I think they deserve to be in the tournament from before. I wish they weren't in the play-in game based on their season.
It's funny. It's interesting. In some ways, I think that it was cool that they were in the play-in game because they kind of got that individual stage. Listen, what I would say, Nuño, is, it's a lot of different things. Is that I understand why some people were frustrated with the, who they played. I think the opposite is true as well. Is that, I talked to Travis Steele about this a few weeks ago, and he's been very public about this. They tried to schedule dozens of power conference teams. And I think we now know why nobody took their phone call, because they would have done potentially to somebody else what they did to SMU. So, I didn't love that they were on that stage when the bracket came out, like you said, but I think as the game unfolded, I thought it was cool that they got that standalone moment. And I just think bigger picture, the other thing is two things. Is one, I don't think I'm alone on this. I'm always in favor of give me the 27, 28, 29 win small school team versus the team that's really sputtering like an SMU, like a Texas, the teams that have had, quite literally dozens of chances to pick up big wins and oftentimes haven't. And I think the last thing I would say about Miami of Ohio, Nuño, there's some dumb narratives that pop up over the course of our lives. This notion that if you let them in, it's going to incentivize everyone to schedule poorly, as if it's easy to win 31 out of 31 games. Dumbest narrative ever. I was on national TV the other day, and I almost used the word that would have gotten me in a lot of trouble describing that narrative. But it is the stupidest narrative that I have ever heard. Happy for Miami of Ohio. I would also counter by saying they got their hands full with a big physical Tennessee team on Friday. But I thought it was actually cool that they got that standalone moment, even though, to your point, probably maybe they deserve to not even have to play on Wednesday night while everybody else got ready for games on Thursday and Friday.
Aaron, I was listening to AJ yesterday, I think it was yesterday, maybe it was the day before, talking about why he went to BYU. How fresh is it to hear an athlete talk about development when he can go wherever he wants with NIL dollars, and he chose the place that made the most sense for him, his character growth, and his player development.
First of all, look at you, Nuño on Hoops, just listening to AJ DeBonsa pressers from 1,500 miles away. Wow, that's great.
Didn't you tweet it? Didn't you retweet it or something?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. You could have just said, "Hey, I saw you're fired up about this." Listen. What
I wanted to be a nerd.
So go ahead. No, you are a nerd, bro. I've seen you in those Superman T-shirts. It's okay.
Batman.
No, listen. So with AJ, by the way, I hope you know I was joking. I was joking there. So listen, or was it Spider-Man? I can't remember. All right.
Batman.
So DeBonsa, listen, I think it's a really cool story. Now, here's the thing. Yes, it is a non-traditional school. Okay. And listen, NIL plays a role in every single decision. Like, there isn't this mythical player that is going to choose a school that isn't offering him any money at all over a school that is offering him a lot of money, okay? And so to counter that, I know for a fact that basically everybody came to the table with a lot of big bags to get AJ DeBonsa, and you can see why he's going to be the number one pick in the NBA draft. But, the same question that has been asked since literally the day he committed on first take, it was asked that day. Since the day he has committed, it has been, why has it been BYU? How much was NIL involved? He's been asked the question a million times. There's no new ground to cover, but he was asked again. They play tonight, lead up to the NCAA tournament. But what I would say is this, is if you think it's just about money, no one's ever going to change your mind. But what I would also say is he came in as a really good prospect. I think he has been better than expected. First team All-American, I believe still leads the country in scoring. And late in the season, when that team was ravaged by injuries, he played his best basketball. So maybe NIL had a lot to do with it. I also think you can't deny that the BYU coaching staff has lived up to every promise they made to him in the recruiting process, because it is a situation where he hasn't just kind of shown up and done whatever. He's immersed himself in the community. He's done a great job on the court. He's gotten better, and he has positioned himself to be a number one pick. So I think it's really worked out well for everybody in that process. And, win-loss record, you'd like BYU to have a little bit of a better record, but they've had several crippling injuries to that team. But, yeah, he was asked about it again yesterday, and it kind of just drove me crazy of, like, we've been asking the same question for 18 months. There are better questions to ask the future number one pick. But, hey, what do I know? I'm just a dude who hosts radio and a podcast. My big J days are behind me. Maybe I should be asking tough, hard-hitting questions like that have been already asked a million times. Anyway, rant over.
AT, great job, buddy. Thanks so much. Enjoy the games.
Yeah. I was on fire today. That was really good. That was one of our better ones in a while. Thank you, David. Good luck.
I actually have it ranked. This is actually number 7 in the top 100 ATs. So it's number 7. Good job.
Ooh. Okay. Around Christmas, do we just play the best of AT, like number 5, and it's just me talking about Nick Saban's retirement, and then like number 4, oh my goodness, Texas A&M beat LSU. Brian Kelly's fired. Is that how that's going to work?
Yeah, people are clamoring for more AT. They are. So go to AT.com.
Woo. Except for my wife. She's kind of annoyed by me right now, but that's okay. It's all right. She's had her fill for the day already.
We gotta go.
It's only 7:30.
Talk to you later. Okay, bye. Okay, I think he hung up finally. Brad's Running Company and Mason Hay. Let's talk about both of them. A family legacy over there at Century Square. Brad's Running Company, they're locally owned. They're Aggie owned. They're a specialty running store there in Century Square. Go say hi to Mike. He's passionate about finding the right shoe for you, for runners, walkers, fitness enthusiasts. If you're doing high rocks this upcoming week, that's the place to get your shoes. They got it all, from running shoes to Brooks to Onda, Hoka, the Viore, the Duck Camp Turtle Box speakers. And as I've mentioned before, the Aggie spirit runs deep in their family. Mike's daughters, Haley and Macy, are 4th-generation Aggies and College Station natives, and they created Mace and Hay, their own company featuring officially licensed Aggie merchandise, pajamas, baby blankets, wallpaper, you name it, they got it all. MasonHay.com is that website. From running shoes to Aggie pajamas, this Aggie family's got you covered. Visit the Brazos Running Company or shop MasonHay.com. All right, we're back here on TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Luke Evangelist joining us. Luke, a couple of things I want to get into this segment, all right? Basketball savant also. That's, I think, what I called AT. I should give you a better name. Basketball enthusiast.
Yeah, I
with
like
great
it.
knowledge.
Thank you.
And intel.
Thank you.
And relationships.
Thank you. Anything else?
Probably not.
Okay.
So, Callie told us that somebody was it tweeted or texted that if you're still listening to the TexAgs, go home. Get ready for the game, right? Like, so why don't you come here, Luke? I want you to tell humans watching. First off, the drive wasn't that bad from College Station.
No,
right?
and there are a lot of Aggies in Dallas, right? I mean, how far away is it from Dallas? 2.5 hours?
Yeah. And how cheap can you get into the building right now?
$10. $10 tickets.
Is it really $10?
Yeah.
I thought you said 13, 12
we
seconds
don't
ago.
We don't have a sponsorship with SeatGeek or Ticketmaster or anything, but I go on SeatGeek and you can get in for $10.
I thought you literally 5 seconds ago said 13. Why did it change?
It's $3 difference, really that big of a difference.
But you went from 13 to 10. Is it 10 or is it 13?
We round down on this show. $10 to $15. Hey, if you want to sit in the lower bowl, you can do it for $25.
Bro,
why not come out here to Oklahoma City and support Texas A&M?
First off, if St. Mary's has more people in attendance than Aggies, I'm going to be very mad at you. You in your cubicle right now, watching, thinking about it, debating. I don't know if I can spend the gas money. Yes, you can. $10 tickets or 13.
Yeah.
All right. Here's a hard question for you. Okay? I want you to go deep into this one.
Oh, gosh.
Who's got the higher ceiling in this tournament, A&M or St. Mary's? Okay? Because most people are predicting St. Mary's to win.
Right.
But if A&M got hot, wouldn't they have the higher ceiling, or am I just wrong here?
Well, the teams with the best ceilings and the best teams with the highest ceilings in March Madness have the best guard play and have the best 3-point shooting. That's the ultimate equalizer, and that's the ultimate catalyst to shout out Catalyst Energy. Catalyst to become a better version of yourself. And so we've seen A&M at its ceiling is 7-1 in the SEC. They're beating teams. They're hanging in there with top 25 teams. And so when you get a version of A&M that shoots the ball like, let's say, Miami of Ohio did last night, they're capable of beating anybody. If A&M makes 16 threes at 40+%, they can be an Elite Eight team. Like, it's just, if you get that for 3-4 games in a row, this team, it'll be very difficult for them to lose.
When's the last time we saw 3-4 games in a row of that level of A&M output?
I mean, we were just talking about it. It had to be that
Alabama, Georgia.
Second half, their best stretch of the year was the second half against Texas into Mississippi State, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama. That's 4.5 games where, what did they go? 4-1 in that stretch. The Alabama game, they played well. They just lost to a better team that had an ineligible player who scored more points than A&M lost by. Any other time, I think A&M beats Alabama. That's their best 4 or 5 game stretch of the year. Now, granted, the product since then gives you little to no hope that they'll be able to reach that again against even better competition that puts them in struggling positions like Florida and Missouri will with their height. But the fact that they've done it gives you hope that that can return at any given moment. Like we saw the flashes against Kentucky. It's not out of the equation that A&M can play well in March, because we literally just saw them in their first game in March in a game they absolutely had to win to avoid the bubble, came out and smacked a Kentucky team that's on the same seed line as St. Mary's.
If St. Mary's and Kentucky play. But what I don't like is it's possible. Sure it is. It's March. Anything is possible, right? But does A&M not playing a game where they hit 13 threes win this game?
Probably not. And that's simply just because of the matchup. I think if A&M would have been playing Clemson, they could get by with a little bit less because of what the game is going to call for. But when you play a team with elite size and you don't have size, A&M has to hit their threes. So you can almost exclusively pick out a number of, in SEC play, when A&M was playing Alabama, we said they got to hit probably 14 threes to be in this game. But because the game is going to be at a slower pace and you're playing a team that doesn't take as many threes as A&M, the number today is probably 12. If A&M hits more than 12 threes and it's at anything better than 39%, I feel great about them winning this game. The problem is you're playing a really good 3-point defense. And there's also that unknown of, Yeah, the metrics say this. I'm on KenPom 12 hours a day. KenPom says that. But there's this level of unknown that the numbers can't take into account, even if their opponent adjusted. Of A&M is so much more battle tested than St. Mary's. They've played a much tougher strength of schedule for the last 2 months in conference play. They've also seen slower teams. A&M has seen teams more like St. Mary's than St. Mary's has seen teams like A&M.
Right.
So A&M has played against the Tennessees that play really slow. They've played against the Floridas and Missouris that have size. St. Mary's closest comparison to A&M is a team that is 50 spots away from them in tempo and doesn't even press full court. So on short rest, well, not short rest, on limited time to prepare, but with more rest because they've only played a game in March, is St. Mary's going to be ready to play buckyball? That's a question we're going to find out.
Most teams struggle with buckyball the first time they see it, especially without having ample time to prepare.
Right. But another part of the equation is, is A&M ready to be slowed down? That's why I think the first 10 minutes of this game are going to tell you everything you need to know. Like, I almost want to say the team that's winning after 10 minutes is probably winning this game because St. Mary's has played one game in the last 20 days. If that's not the best time to jump on an opponent that's rusty, playing in a gym they've never played in, playing against a style they've never seen before, if A&M doesn't jump all over St. Mary's, I'm going to be really concerned. Because if they're allowed to set that tempo at the St. Mary's level from the get-go, A&M's in trouble. You don't want to be in a half-court game with them. I want to see A&M. They're not going to get a 20-2 start like they got against Georgia. But if A&M's up 5 or 6 in the first couple minutes of this game, I feel really good. And even on top of that, it's not just about how much they're up. What does the game feel like?
Yeah.
Is A&M pressuring them and turning them over? And maybe the turnovers aren't turning into a ton of points, but it's the fact that they're turning them over and you're starting to see fatigue early. The first 10 minutes should tell us everything we need to know.
One word answer. We'll do another segment. It'll be short. I know Houston's a better team, but who's a better matchup for A&M?
That's a tough question because Houston doesn't have the size, but they have the intensity that the reason A&M wins, the reason A&M has 21 wins is because 21 times they were the harder playing team on the floor.
And a Kelvin team is not. So hold that thought for the other segment. We've got to hit a break. It's TexAgs Live. David Nuño, Luke Evangelist, live in Oklahoma City. All right, Luke, here's how I think A&M wins. I understand the 3-point thing, right? Like, you've got to hit your 12 threes or whatever the number ends up being. Yes. But I think we need to see a withering down the stretch St. Mary's team. If A&M keeps it close, I like their chances late, because if this is a team that really plays 7 deep, right, and A&M can play as deep as they want, I am curious if they are allowed to play their brand of basketball for most of the game, part of the game, right? So we know it's not going to be in the 90s. Mm-hmm. We hope it's not in the 50s, right? So if it's in that middle tier, that those 7 players who have not seen a press, like they're going to hopefully see that press, because if A&M's missing shots, we're not going to get to see that press. They got to hit. They have to hit shots to set up the press. I'm curious what happens with a withering St. Mary's team down the stretch if it's a close game and A&M is able to play that brand of basketball for as long as possible.
Yeah, I mean, when you play in the WCC and let's say 15 of your conference games are quad 3 and 4, they're not playing tough games down the stretch. I mean, I watched them against Gonzaga close really strong. I watched them against Santa Clara completely fold down the stretch. Yep. So everybody likes to talk about, A&M blowing these games, and that's just simply the reality of college basketball. Is if you can be 50-50 in these one-possession games down the stretch in the last 5 minutes, that's good. For year one, you'll take that. I think A&M being more battle-tested and having been in like 8 or 9 of these games that came down to quite literally the final minute is going to benefit them, because we've seen them have supreme decision-making down the stretch, whereas St. Mary's hasn't been pushed in the final 10 minutes of a game more than probably 6 times this year.
Right.
And so I know they're playing better basketball than A&M in the last month, but there is just something about that full court pressure. You can't replicate it, right? You're asking your scout team guys who are on the scout team for a reason to try and replicate a style that they've never even seen before. So that's why the first 10 minutes of the game are so important, and that's also why the final 10 minutes have to be owned by A&M, because if that pressure isn't having an effect on St. Mary's, then you're in a lot of trouble, because that has to be your advantage. Everyone's talking about how does A&M neutralize size and how does A&M neutralize rebounding. St. Mary's on the other side is how do we handle that pressure?
Right.
And if it's not affecting them in the most crucial 10 minutes of the game, then A&M's secret weapon isn't much of a weapon anymore.
I got to drop it there. Great job, Luke. We'll have a post-game wrap tonight after the game. Luke will be involved in that. We'll get you some locker room access as well. We'll hit a break. We'll come back with a former player who used to do Luke's job. He was really good at it.
He did it better than me.
Well, I'm not going to say that, but he knew more people. Logan Lee coming up next on TexAgs Live. All right, we are back here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Hour number 3 of the program. We are live in Oklahoma City, and we're going to go to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline, talk to a man who played in the NCAA tournament, a man who worked at TexAgs and has said, I'm done with you guys. It's Logan Lee on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. What's up, Logan?
I'm never done with you guys. What are you talking about, Nuño?
What's up, man?
That's a good shirt. I like that one.
You ordered it for me, believe it or not. I don't know if you remember that. You remember that?
Yeah, I do.
Can you order me some more? It's been 5 years.
It hasn't been that long, has it?
It's about to be, yeah. In the summer.
Man, look
It'll
at
be 5
that.
years, bro. I'm old.
Congrats. That's big time.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Hey, so what do you think about this matchup that people are fearing size? And I'm sure from the St. Mary's side, they're fearing the press.
I think it's obviously going to be a battle of will and who can implement their style of play, who can be successful in what they've done to this point the entire year. I think what I hang my hat on and why I think A&M wins is because, we've seen A&M struggle with some size and some physicality. But I think while St. Mary's has size, I don't think they have the athleticism that A&M has seen in the SEC. The bigs, the wings that are 6'7", 6'8", the bigs that are 6'11", that can put their head on the rim, that can touch the top of the backboard. St. Mary's doesn't have that type of athleticism. But then when I play devil's advocate, I say, is St. Mary's a little more disciplined? Are they a little more methodical? Are they going to get caught up in the speed of the game? What it comes down to is making shots. If A&M can make shots early and take a bit of a lead, then St. Mary's can't slow the game down, and then it plays into A&M's favor.
Hitting shots has been hit or miss recently, to lack of a better term, right? And you can only point out a couple games. You're like, man, they're hitting their shots, right? But the Texas game was not a good day. The Oklahoma game was not a good day at shooting. Do you think that's anything in particular? It's just that's how basketball goes, or people have kind of figured out A&M's rhythm?
I think a little of both. That is how basketball goes, and you're gonna be up and down. Obviously, you want to be more up than down, and that hasn't been the case for A&M as of late. But St. Mary's is in for something that they haven't seen all year long, and we saw what happened at the start of SEC play, where the SEC teams weren't ready for Texas A&M and their intensity and their speed, and it got the Aggies off to a really good start. If A&M can stifle St. Mary's in the beginning and pull that lead out and force them to play the style of basketball that St. Mary's does not want to play, then it's going to be a good day for the Aggies. If they have to play slow and methodical, and if they have to play a little more physical game, then the Aggies are going to struggle.
In your experience, what team typically is able to, establish their way of playing if they're both really elite at it, right? So is it the fast team that speeds up the slow team typically? I know it depends on the quality of team, but I'm just saying for this instance, or do slow teams, was Buzz a master at slowing down games against faster teams, or did Buzz's teams or other teams like it get sped up more often?
I think in A&M's case, and with Bucky's style of play and the way they come out, they usually speed up other teams. Even the teams that have had success against the Aggies have played faster than what they're normally playing. Will A&M's feistiness and athleticism and quickness speed up St. Mary's? St. Mary's, they want to shoot the three. They want to get the ball in inside as well. But, they're a good shooting team. And is A&M's speed going to force St. Mary's into rush shots. We know St. Mary's is going to get some open shots. They're going to get some open looks. That's just how it is, and that's the way that Texas A&M plays. But for example, A&M got open looks against Florida and missed a lot of them because Florida's size and athleticism sped up those shots even when A&M was open. Can A&M do that to St. Mary's? I think they can. I have A&M winning this game, and I think that they can. Obviously, I'm a little biased. I've watched A&M all year long. I want them to win, but I think they have a good shot.
Talking to Logan Lee here on TexAgs Live. The thing that scares me is that A&M struggles rebounding against teams that are good at rebounding. This team is great at rebounding.
Great at rebounding. And I don't know enough about St. Mary's. I haven't watched them enough to know if they're great because of their size, because they have 2 7-footers that they play, and because it's a slow down game, and they just take really good shots and the defense doesn't force them into anything, or if they're just a great rebounding team just because they're tenacious on the boards and they just go after everything. If it is up to A&M and the speed of the game, I think that will throw the rebounding off kilter. If they're methodical and they can take the shots that they want, man, I really do think it's going to be a long game for A&M if St. Mary's plays slow, methodical, and they're not great on defense, but their defensive rebounding is through the roof.
Is this the kind of game that somebody has to be the catalyst, not named Agee? Right? Does Rylan Griffin have to have that game? Because I'm thinking of Agee, who's been, you're going to get something from Agee. Even the games where he has, quote unquote, struggled, let's say, he finds a way to impact the second half. But when you're taking on bigs the way they're going to be taken on and a team that's sound defensively, I feel like you're going to have others hitting shots to open him up a little bit.
Yeah, I think from here on out, it can't just be the Rashawn Agee show. I think from here on out, if A&M wants to continue to play basketball this season, they're going to have not just one, but 2 other people show up. That's the type of caliber teams that they're going to be facing the rest of the season, whether that's 1 game or that's 6 games. I think 6 games to get there, maybe 5. But it has to be more than Agee. I think the reason why I like this matchup a little more is because St. Mary's isn't a grinded out type of defensive prowess team. They're good, they're solid, but they're not going to just get up in Texas A&M and force a ton of turnovers and be super physical on the perimeter. They're just solid, and it's better for Texas A&M to not have to face a team like that in the first round that hangs their hat on defense, because we all know A&M's offense, if they're not running the ball in transition, the half court is tough for them to score in. And I think St. Mary's is probably going to have to play faster than what anybody expects, than what they expect, which is going to allow A&M to get some easier buckets, which will get Rylan Griffin going, which will get Zach Clements going, which will hopefully get Ruben Dominguez going, and maybe Jakari Lane a couple of open shots, and Marcus Hill getting downhill and scoring at the basket. All of those things just waterfall together. So to go back to your original question, I think it's more than just one person that has to show up outside of Agee. I think there's going to have to be 2 or 3 guys show up for A&M to win.
I think Zach Clements could play a huge role today for the reason that I just gave you, trying to push out some of those bigger dudes and creating a little bit more space in alleys for the guards.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think Zach is a really good basketball player. I think he needs another year in the offseason with Darby and with Texas A&M, and we're going to see an even better player next year. But while we have him this year and in the tournament this year, he can be big time factor. His ability to not just extend the floor and shoot the three ball, but I've noticed his control with the dribble. He can shot fake, take a couple of dribbles. If he doesn't have a lane to drive and take advantage of, he'll just turn his back and back the defender down. And he's got really good footwork. He has nice touch around the basket in the paint. I really like him. I know I started the season saying that he could be the guy, and for a stretch of about 7 or 8 games, he was. We just need him to be the guy tonight and moving forward.
Talking to Logan Lee here on TexAgs Live. Logan, how important is it going to be to get off to an early lead, or does that even matter? And before you answer, let me give you a little context. I brought that up, I think it was with Pop Isaacs yesterday in the locker room, and he made it sound like, look, if we're hitting shots or we're not, we're doing this, we're doing that, we got to go with we got to evolve as the game evolves, right? So just because you get off to a good lead doesn't mean anything, but I just feel like with the pace that A&M plays, a good lead, which means you're hitting shots probably, I think is going to speed up St. Mary's, in my opinion.
Absolutely. If they can get off to a hot start and St. Mary's has to play from behind and has to, that immediately makes the opponent feel like they have to play faster because they have to catch up. If they don't get off to a hot start and they don't have a lead, I don't think it hurts Texas A&M as much because it's a lot easier to speed up the game than it is to slow it down. And if A&M, let's say the first 10 minutes, it's tied at 18 points. Well, that's okay because A&M can turn up the pressure and turn up the heat, maybe get a turnover and a made three, and it's 21-18. And then they really throw in the press, and St. Mary's isn't necessarily ready for it. They catch them off guard and they get another steal and a layup, and all of a sudden it's 23-18. Well, then St. Mary's they feel the pressure and they start thinking, shoot, we got to get back in this game. The momentum's there. Let's go make a shot. Let's hurry up and get it. And they take a bad shot. And let's say it's a bad shot that they're out of position, so they don't have as great of a rebounding presence as they normally would in a half-court offense. And A&M gets a rebound. They come down. They don't make a shot, but they get fouled. They go to the free throw line, make 1 out of 2. All of a sudden, you're up by 6 or 7 in a 3 possession that changed the game in 3 possessions because of the style of play at Texas A&M. So no, they don't necessarily have to start off as a hot shooting night, but at some point they have to turn the tide. They have to get some stops on defense and turn those defensive wins into offensive possessions where you score, and that changes the game.
Logan, am I crazy for thinking if A&M is going to have a run in this tournament, what that run looks like, stringing together a couple of wins, let's say, or beyond? I think Pop Isaacs has to play a major role in that.
I would agree. And by a major role from Pop, I think it's 2 things. One, he has to make a couple of shots, which he has made some big shots. But I think the bigger thing is he can't turn the ball over. He's made some big shots and then unexplainably just throws a lazy pass or isn't on the same page as his teammate and they're not on the page together and the ball goes out of bounds.
Yeah.
Those types of plays can't happen. And that's what Pop needs to really focus on is staying focused, keeping his head in the game and staying on the same page as his teammates, whether he's hitting shots or not.
How important, and I think he's going to be very important. I think they can win without the guy I'm about to bring up. But if he is on and he is the floor general that he can be, Jakari Lane, how important is that, especially considering this could at times be a half-court game?
Nuño, this is a guards game. This is where the guards come out and the teams that are successful that make a run are the teams that have really good guard play. And Jakari Lane, man, he was the catalyst to the start of conference play. Whether he was knocking down big shots, getting timely steals, making the right pass to each player, he started off conference great. I think he's kind of floundered a little, and when I say floundered, I think he's just trying to figure out how the SEC was playing him, how they were scouting against him, and it took a couple of games for him to figure it out. He's kind of gotten a rhythm back. I don't think he's full Jakari Lane mode that we saw at the beginning of conference play. But his presence is going to be huge, especially like you mentioned in a game against St. Mary's where they're going to try to play methodical and they're going to try to slow it down. And he's going to come into play often in this first round matchup.
Well, it's interesting that as we say it out loud, I'm thinking to myself, some of A&M's struggles have been more apparent and more obvious since his play kind of went a little south, correct?
Absolutely. I mean, it's a guard's world, and he has the ball, and he's bringing it up. And thankfully, in Bucky's system, there are multiple guards that can bring it up, and they can start the fast break. But when it comes to the half court possessions, like you were talking about, that's where Jakari Lane needs to be on point, and he needs to get his guys in the spots that they need to be in to find success.
So what's the key tonight, in your opinion? If you could, and not the obvious hit 12 threes, but if you could give me three things that we've got to see 12 threes, yes, but beyond the 12 threes, what do you think are the keys?
The pace of the game. That's going to be huge because I think the pace of the game leads into the next two, and the next two are rebounding and foul trouble. If we all know that they're going to have different officiating in this game, we don't know who the officials are going to be. It could be a different conference that isn't used to this style of play. A&M is going to have to adjust to whatever officiating it is, because the last thing that I want to be talking about next week is, man, the officiating was horrible and we lost the game because of that. Well, no, players got to adjust, and that has to happen. But pace of play, rebounding, and staying out of foul trouble. If the pace of play is the way that A&M wants to the speed that A&M wants to play at, then I think A&M has a good chance. If A&M can, I don't want to say win the rebounding battle, but if they can stay within arm's reach of rebounds, that rebounding back and forth, I think they're in a good spot, and I think that is determined by pace of play. And again, foul trouble. Can't have guys foul out. Can't have AG in trouble. Can't have Zach Clements in trouble. We've got to be able to adjust to the officiating. So if those three things happen and they all start with pace of play, I think A&M wins.
By the way, St. Mary's one of the top teams in the country hitting free throws. So we don't want to put them on the line.
There you go.
Right?
There you go.
And back to the pace of play. I simplified this too much earlier when I had Luke on, but I really do believe this is the case. The fact that St. Mary's plays with a smaller bench, if you will, they go 7 deep. Mm-hmm. I think we might see a bigger bench by them, by the way, because of the kind of play that A&M is going to try to instill and what that can do to a team over 40 minutes.
So I think we'll know a couple of things right at the start of the game. Is St. Mary's worried about Texas A&M and the speed of the game? Or how are they going? The better way to phrase it is, how are they going to attack Texas A&M? Are they going to attack A&M with size because they think they have a size advantage, or are they going to attack A&M with maybe trying to put a little speed out there and combat the pressing? Is St. Mary's going to change the way that they play and they view Texas A&M style, or are they going to stick to their guns and try to really hammer this thing out in the style of play that they want to be in? We'll know very quickly the thought process of St. Mary's just by the way that they start the game. If they're nervous about the intensity and the 94 feet of pressing, or if they're not too worried about it and they just say, we're going to play our game and we're going to win. We're going to win the way we are.
Logan, do they win this game if Dominguez doesn't give them 3 or 4 threes? I hate to put it on one guy, but I'm just curious your thoughts there.
I don't think he needs to hit 3 or 4 threes, but if he can hit a couple of them, it gives them the chances of winning are infinitely better.
Yep.
I don't think it has to be 3 or 4 threes, but I do think he needs to make a couple to space the floor and to give everybody else an extra chance.
Logan, next week when we talk, I hope we're talking about a Sweet 16, buddy. Appreciate your time.
Man, that would be awesome. Go get us a win, Nuño. Have fun in OKC.
Yeah, believe it or not, I don't play a role in that. I don't think I have anything to do with it, even when I sit in certain chairs. It doesn't really play a role.
I don't believe that. And I don't believe you. I believe that you are superstitious, and if you are in a chair and holding a pen one way and Ruben hits a 3, you're probably not going to move.
Yep. In fact, you are right. Even though in the back of my mind I know it's impossible to affect the game, there is a little bit of ownership in the moment. You're right.
I do it too. We were out. We were sitting on the couch watching the last A&M basketball game in the tournament, and we were doing bad, and Katie made Harper move seats and come sit next to her, and she was like, "It's not working that way, so you got to come over here."
Makes a difference.
It's just how it is.
It is. All right, buddy. Talk to you soon.
See you, Nuño.
See you, bro. Logan Lee there on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. We'll hit a break. We'll do a What's on TexAgs today. And then Trey Wallace from Outkick. He's got topics on everything. Sankey, Aggie football. He loves Elko over Sark. We'll talk about that and March Madness, all that and more. But that'll happen after on TexAgs today. Right now, a moment for Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online at CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. If you're getting tired of getting hit with these surprise fees and dealer add-ons and yada, yada, right when you sign, like, hey, I thought you told me it's going to be this amount, and now it's that. I don't know why I made them Italian. Well, Caldwell Country Chevrolet operates differently. They're going to take care of you. They believe in being very transparent when it comes to their pricing. What you see is what you pay. No hidden charges, right? They're going to just make sure that you get the price that you agreed to, and that's the bottom line. They're one of the best when it comes to serving the Brazos Valley. They are the best. They have an experienced sales staff that is trusted, and they have earned that respect because of the hard work that they do for this area. Remember, it's about a 15-minute drive, the edge of Bryan to the beginnings of Caldwell. Short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and you do business with the great people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. Don't forget that it was Michael Earley on this show today telling Richard that Josh Stewart was done for the year. And don't forget where that information started from. Because TexAgs continues to be the industry leader in intel and relationships at Texas A&M. And the reason I say that to you is because that's pretty big news. And nobody else has it. He said it on our show. I'm sure he'll be asked about it at the press conference. Let that marinate for a moment, because remember, when TexAgs breaks things, a couple things happen. Crickets, or all of a sudden everybody's got the same source. I'm not here to play friend. I'm here to play talk show host. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Cooper Patterson, what is on TexAgs today?
That was a really great introduction to what we have on TexAgs today. That's what
really?
we gave out on our free show. Imagine what we were giving out on our premium site, where you can go to texags.com/subscribe.
They do subscribe, Coop. They do.
Well, they can watch it free on the YouTube and listen to it on the radio for free.
This is true. All right, go ahead.
On TexAgs today, we have Around the SEC Recruiting and Trends from Jason Howell, who we love Jason Howell. The B team is back with Bronny and Richard. And then most importantly, we will have exclusive content from OKC covering the Aggies NCAA tournament game tonight versus St. Mary's. We have plenty of articles already out from OB, Luke, and Tom Schuberth. We'll also have live coverage and post-game reactions. We also have a few read and react interviews in the locker room with our Texas A&M players with David Nuño. We also have 3 NIL interviews coming in today. We have Addie Applegate and Megan Fitch from the volleyball team, and we have Boston Kellner, standout shortstop freshman from the baseball team.
Good stuff there, Coop. In a few minutes, we're going to talk to Trey Wallace. Nick, I think I've actually asked you this before, but I'm just going to, if I were to say to you, Nick, or let's say Callie asked you, Nick, what do you think David enjoys most about his job? What do you think you would say about David? That would be me. It's weird the way I'm talking about it.
I would say that you enjoy interviewing and getting to know the athletes, because you've told me that before. You enjoy the competition that comes with this line of business, and not so much me. I'm not a reporter, but you, Olin, Richard, Bronny, the guys that Billy, most importantly, that chase these news stories on a national level. I know you enjoy that competition of getting the story first. And here at TexAgs, we do that quite a bit.
Yeah. By the way, I don't really get a lot of stories first here. We have a great team that does that. Richard does an amazing job. Bronny does an amazing job. Olin does an amazing job. And of course, Billy is the one who started it all. But what I was going to say is it's actually, you got most of it right. The other one is I love helping our staff and our interns, reach their professional goals. That's probably top of my desires or things I like about this job. But the other thing you said is the locker room and getting to know these players. That is one of my favorite things to do. I love, because especially when they're young and they're in these college, not all of them are getting all these interviews right away. It can be intimidating, and I just love developing a relationship with these athletes, and sometimes based on a 30-second before an interview or just over time. It was interesting yesterday, Nick, because when I went into the locker room to do these, I do these interviews at the NCAA tournament every year. It's one of my favorite things to do. It was weird because I don't know these guys like I knew the last team. The last team, I got to cover Henry Coleman for 3-4 years, right? And we got to see Wade Taylor grow up from a freshman to having his jersey retired, right? So it was a different kind of relationship when I walked into that, and it still felt the same going in there and talking to all these guys and seeing how excited they were for the moment, how ready they are for this game against St. Mary's, and how they have a lot of work. So yeah, you are exactly right on the things that I like about this gig, and I'm very blessed to do what we do. All right, we're going to hit a break. When we come back on TexAgs Live, Trey Wallace, Outkick.com. He's my friend. He's really good at what he does, and he's got a lot of hot sports takes next on TexAgs Live. We're back here on TexAgs Live. We're presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. Got a lot of basketball stuff I want to get to with our next guest, but we got to start off with the lead from last week. Let's go to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Trey Wallace, Outkick.com, our good friend. What's up, Trey?
Hey, bud. How are you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. How was the SEC tournament last week? You were busy. You're all over the place.
Yeah, man. It was good, man. Love getting over to Nashville and, interacting with so many different people and getting to see some good hoops, which is exactly what we got. Maybe a game or two that was kind of ugly, but got a nice championship game, and now we're here. NCAA tournament starts. We'll see what your Aggies do against St. Mary's, and yeah, man, should be a fun 3 weeks ahead.
Yeah, so I don't know how much you've paid attention to this matchup, but we're talking about two different styles going at it, right? A slower pace St. Mary's team built with some big guys that gives A&M some problems, but they haven't faced a press. The question will be, can A&M hit shots and set up their press or not?
Yeah, I'm curious to see how much up and down the court old Bucky Ball can do, especially with St. Mary's, like you said, to kind of try to slow it down a little bit. I've watched him numerous times this year. I do think there's an opportunity, though, for Texas A&M to kind of run in this game, make them uncomfortable. I think is the biggest thing that stands out to me. Get to the basket and then be able to throw the press on. Can you, get them in a spot where, 10, 12, 13 turnovers turns into points on the other end. And if that's the case, I think that's how Texas A&M wins. Yeah, like you said, man, it's just kind of the fascinating type of matchup. And one's slow, one's running. Let's see who can outgain each other on the court. So, yeah, I do think Texas A&M, pulling them, I guess you could say, upset. I think the Aggies win today and move on. But it is going to be a testament of which team's philosophy wins out.
Yeah, look. I said this at the top of the show. I'm not just happy to be here if I'm an Aggie. Like, I'm trying to do something, but I'm going to do it. But you think about, like, how this team was constructed, 11 months ago, and the injury to Mackenzie Mbako, and, there's just not a big team. To be in this position is really quite remarkable what Bucky's been able to do.
Yeah, especially when how they're going to have to win games, whether that be from the perimeter or, like I said, getting up and down the court, and sure, there's probably going to be a mismatch of the paint a little bit, but can they take advantage from the outside and within the paint, making sure your shots are consistent. And if that's the case, that's how I think Texas A&M wins. They're not going to beat them around the basket. So don't try. You could draw fouls if you want, but I'm just saying, St. Mary's plays a different type of basketball. So, if Bucky and them can do what they've done this past season, and like I said, make teams uncomfortable like St. Mary's, play their game, that's how they win. If they get out of it and they try to, hey, you know what, we're going to attack the paint, we're going to attack the post, you ain't coming out of there with a win. St. Mary's will get you in there. So, I'm curious to see Bucky's game plan today, and I do think it ends up working out, but that's the craziness of March, which is the madness.
Yeah, and I want to move on to the Alabama angle with Nate Oates because I'm great coach. I think sometimes he comes from a really good place. I don't know if I bought the Bediako spin on it. I think there was something deeper than what he said.
Right.
But when he speaks, it makes sense. If you're an Alabama fan, you're like, heck yeah, that's what I'm trying to do. But man, that university, that program has had some issues, man.
Man, it is awkward in Tuscaloosa when you're trying to cover that team, whether that be the Bediako situation. Remember, it was all about education. Want to get the guy his degree, finish it up, and the lawsuit gets dropped, which we knew that was going to happen. If he didn't get it, move on. And then you have the Aiden Holloway situation, which to me, I think there's one thing that folks are, I don't want to say like purposely missing out on, maybe just not paying attention to. He got pulled over on the 10th, 6 days before he got caught with 2.1 pounds of weed. Well, they found marijuana in his car during that stop. They're also getting a reckless driving. What? Why did he travel to Nashville? Like, if a player gets pulled over with weed and you're also at the same time, you get a citation, and then all of a sudden 6 days later, I don't know if it's a coincidence that, he had his house ransacked and with a search warrant, but I don't know if it's bad luck or they just don't seem to take care of the inner workings of the athletic department there, man. But, I mean, I could even go back to the Darius Miles and the Brandon Miller stuff. I mean, it just seems like there's always something with Alabama basketball. And, one of the, like I said, the bust of him getting caught with all the weed and the promethazine and all that, yeah, that stood out to me. But the other thing was him getting caught with the weed and we not hearing anything about it and, not being suspended for a game or two because you shouldn't be driving around with weed in your car in Tuscaloosa. I think that's just a smart way to look at it.
Trey, I want to go to you upset a fan base in Austin. And I just want to tell you. Yeah, so let me set this up and tell me if I'm right here. Okay. You go on with SEC Mike, right? It was SEC Mike, if I remember correctly?
Yep.
And he asked you, and you basically said you think Elko is a better CEO.
Right.
And you explained the reasons why.
Mm-hmm.
And I understand the other side. The other side is, we've beat them 2 years in a row. They had a 10-year head start in the SEC. I understand all that. What you were saying is, if you were buying stock, and tell me if I'm right, in a coach on how he structures a program and what the future could look like, you would take Elko before Sark. Also understanding that on the field, Sark has won the battles.
Yeah. And that's the... Look, whatever. Social media is a world of its own, and I get that part. But, man, I'm not out here saying that Texas A&M is the better program than Texas. I'm not having that argument right now. I know what – and what I mean by that is I'm setting it up here is that I understand that Texas is beating Texas A&M and they're Sark's 2-0. Okay, I get that part. But that's not what I was discussing. I was discussing the inner workings of a program. And I was discussing that Mike Elko, in my opinion, right now, even though we have a short sample size, has been able to delegate a staff and has been, and look, I know that was the defensive coordinator and calling that, that's fine. But what I'm getting at is from top to bottom with inside his staff, he's not afraid to say, hey, OC, whoever, go do your job. Hey, DC, hey, special teams coach, hey, wide receiver, do your job. Let's come up with a game plan. Let's work. I look at it right now as college football coaches, head coaches, are having to be CEOs of programs. And if that's the case, I just look at what Mike Elko has done in his short time at A&M, and I say, okay, that's a pretty darn good job of making sure that other coaches are within the system and they're building towards something and they're helping out and Mike Elko's not having to overlook everything. What's been the one thing with Steve Sarkisian over the last number of years? It's been he can't let control of the offense to somebody else. It's always got to be him. Well, guess what? He's going to get hammered for a number of different things. Why didn't the offense secure more points? Why does it look stagnant at times? And then the head coach, spot of it. Why is he making certain decisions on the field? And then during the year, so really it's not about the on the field. Sure, Texas fans can come back and say, okay, yeah, we're 2-0, take that. Okay, that's fine. But at the same time, I have to look at it and say, Texas has been a good enough football team, in my opinion, to have been playing for a national championship, not just a game away or whatnot over the last number of years, and they haven't got to that point. Maybe they will this year with Arch. I told everybody last year, chill out with all the Arch talk. He's got to get better as a football player. Well, over the last 4 games of the season, he turned into a quarterback that I can say, okay, maybe they're going to have something in 2026 here. I just, I think it was kind of blown out of proportion a little bit because I'm not talking about, what I have seen on the field. I'm talking about what I'm seeing inside the football and hearing inside the football building and talking with people at both schools and in different schools around the conference about how things are ran. And I just feel at this time, and maybe, maybe Steve Sarkisian proves me wrong in the future, but I've had a big enough sample size to look at Steve Sarkisian and how he's running Texas right now. And I just feel like there are certain things that he has had the ability to do better at that he hasn't. And maybe sometimes that's just because Steve Sarkisian's stubborn. And it does make him a great football coach. But, man, we're in a different era. This is about running an entire program as a CEO and being able to delegate certain responsibilities and being able to put others on the line with their jobs if they're not doing it correctly. So it is what it is, man. It's social media. They'll go crazy, and Texas fans can say 2-0, as long as they want. But you went out and spent a buttload of money this past year on a roster. Not saying A&M didn't. But what you've got coming in there, you better be contending for a national championship this year and not be sitting 9-3 first weekend in November.
Trey, to add to that, also 2 years into his establishment at A&M, right, into his regime.
Right.
He went 11-1 and 8-5, okay? Yeah. 2 years into Sark's run, in the Big 12, by the way, he went 12-12. I know he went to the semifinals. I had forgotten, but in his third year, and he got to recruit towards SEC with a SEC roster in the Big 12 for a couple of years. I understand all of that.
Correct.
And I'm not taking anything away from Sark. I love the way Elko goes about his structuring. I don't know enough about Sark's, but I just think we got the right guy that fits our profile, our university. And I think Elko's blueprint, you can take many places.
Yeah, you can go from a defensive side, from an offensive side. Special teams, what they've done. I look at the recruiting and the transfer portal and the money that they're willing to spend. I think A&M got it right with the coach. Like, we'd be having a different conversation right now, brother, if Mark Stoops would have actually landed or taken off from a plane, an airport in Lexington, and would have been the coach of the Aggies. It's Mike Elko. And I think that his attitude towards the program, I think that the way that he has a relationship with the athletic director and then the athletic department as a whole, they're building something in College Station. And I think that, sure, everybody can go back and, look at the playoffs last year in Miami and what they did and okay, cool. Miami made the national championship game. They were a couple plays away from potentially beating Indiana. So I could go 18 different ways with it, but if we're just talking about overall, I don't see why it's some crazy outlandish thing to say, okay, a couple of years into Mike Elko's tenure at Texas A&M, I just feel like he does a better job delegating certain aspects of his program. That's fine. I mean, and Steve Sarkisian, at the same time, a really good football coach, and I think has the talent to go win this season. But, I think Elko is the right person for Texas A&M, and I think we're going to see some wars over the next couple of years once he fully gets a roster in there and has been able to produce.
Trey, last thing for you. I'm going to end this with a Nuñoism. We've got about a minute here.
Okay, cool.
I think this is a big year for A&M and Elko, but it isn't. And this is what I mean by it. Big year because if you back up an 11-1 season with maybe another playoff berth or a close to a playoff berth, then there's no more one-offs. And if you don't, it hurts and it doesn't look great, but I also get it when you send 13 dudes to the combine.
Right. Yeah, because you have to go out and you have to make sure you're hitting on everything in the transfer portal too. And let's be very, very clear with each other here. We have seen it all around the country. Not everybody's a hit when it comes to the transfer portal. You're taking a risk with the money, and so you have to figure out if these are the right guys that can lead my program. I don't disagree with you. I would say with Texas A&M, if they're in contention of a playoff spot first week of November, I think this is success for them. And I think that looking at it, I'm not saying this is some type of rebuild year because it's not. That's not how it works in college football nowadays with the portal. But I do kind of agree with you in a sense where keep this thing going up the tracks. Don't let it veer off too much, and you're setting yourself up for the future. So I'm excited to see what Texas A&M could do this year. Love me some Reed at quarterback, and let's see what they can put together on offense and especially on the defensive side. So I agree with you, brother.
Great stuff, man. We'll do it here soon, all right?
Buddy, good to see you. Hope you have a great week. Enjoy March Madness.
Thank you, buddy. Trey Wallace there on the Buppies Catering and Bartending Hotline. We'll come back with the shortest segment possible next on TexAgs Live.
What's up, everybody? I'm here to tell you about Fratello Italian Cafe. If anyone knows anything about Italian food, it's me, Billy Lucci. And Fratello has the best Italian food in BCS. Located at 3901 South Texas Avenue, Fratello is known for their handmade pasta dishes and feature lasagna, beef cannelloni, chicken parmesan, chicken fettuccine alfredo, a couple of my favorites, just a big old bowl of plain old spaghetti and some manicotti. Really recommend the manicotti. That's my go-to. And don't walk out of there without trying the fresh, piping hot breadsticks and the homemade in-house cheesecake, which is incredible. It's great for dining in, catering, gift cards, and even shipping, which they do nationwide. Fratello's is Aggie-owned and operated, and is an official restaurant partner of Texas A&M Athletics. I'll see you there.
All right, the final segment of the program here on TexAgs Live. We're a few hours away. I'm not going to do the math right now because I have to use my fingers. From A&M and St. Mary's. 6:35, am I right, Callie? 6:35? So we'll be there. We'll have Luke there. We'll have myself, obviously. That's weird. We'll have Billy there. We'll have Callie there. We'll have complete coverage. We'll have locker room coverage. We'll have podium coverage. We'll have, hopefully, celebration coverage. We'll have it all here. You know, when I say celebrate, you know, cheering for the next round. Not going to over-celebrate for one win if they're able to do it. Look, I think it's going to be hard. I think we've all talked about it, and I do this every year. I remember against Nebraska a couple years ago, I talked myself into why they would win, why they would lose. If that guy, I can't remember his name at the moment, the Japanese Curry who hits all those threes, I was like, if this guy gets hot, well, he got hot for like a minute.
Tominaga, wasn't that it? Something like that?
Yeah, what was it again? Say it again?
I got it wrong. Cooper's looking at me like I said it wrong. So I'm not going to repeat it.
What was his name?
I don't know. That's not why I was looking at you.
He was interesting because like he over-celebrated and got kind of hype. But God, I can't remember his name. I have to do this. Japanese Curry, Nebraska. Not food. And Tominaga.
I was right. I said it right.
That's not why I looked at you.
You said Fujinaga.
No, I said Tominaga.
You said the guy from the building from Die Hard. That's what you said.
I haven't seen Die Hard, so that couldn't be possible.
You haven't seen Die Hard?
No, David, I haven't seen Die Hard. I haven't seen your favorite movie ever, Rocky. Haven't seen any of the Rocky movies. I tried to watch.
Why are you saying it so? I mean,
because we've been over this so many times.
But I brought up Die Hard. I thought everybody watched that Christmas movie.
He only likes war movies.
All right, we're gonna just end it right there. I'm sorry, guys. I know people who listen to AM radio are 50 plus. People who listen on the stream are 20 years old. We will see you guys tomorrow, hopefully after an A&M victory. Thanks so much for watching and listening. Talk to you then.